Thank you. Doing my vocal warm-ups there. You don't need to hear it. That's why I had you on mute. Having some throat issues. Having some... I got no bottom. I never have bottom. Hey, that's what... I was going to do it. That's what she said. But bottom, that lent itself to a joke about a gay bathhouse, and I stumbled on it. I had no joke there. I don't know. I have no bottom. That's what he said. Whatever. Hi, everybody. My name is Pugs, and welcome into Talk Radio for Normal People. We do it every day around about noon here from the Kelly Moore Memorial Studios in beautiful south side of Chicago, Illinois. Recently from Dallas, Texas, but we've moved up here for the winter because that's what one does. One moves to Chicago for the winter. Say hi to the chat room. We got people in the chat room. We got Al, we got Adam, we got Maddie, we got... I'll call him Brown, but it's Ross. Why you got a new name, Ross? What's going... Hold on. I have got... My nose is running. Guys, I've been battling... You know I've been battling this crazy cold all week. I apologize. Hold on. This is not going to be good, but I got to... Oh, God. Oh, I'm human. Okay, I'm a human being. I have fluids inside of me that sometimes at inopportune moments tend to drool out like I'm dying. Where was I? Let's see here. Talk radio for normal people. Here's the thing. I'm not a big fan of MAGA. Okay. I'm also not a big fan of the whole, whatever the, I don't even know what the opposition to MAGA is, but you know what I mean? I always say 15% of people on the left are gone forever. The 15% of them over there on the far left, we can't deal with them. Same goes for 15% on the right. They're gone forever. That leaves us, the 70%, and that's who this show is for. 70% of us, some of us are Republicans, some of us are Democrats, some of us are from the South, some of us are from the North, some of us are men, some of us are women. But we can all, we don't have to knife fight over every issue. And that's what I believe is the true driving force of America in 2026. It is us, the 70%. Let's come together. Forget about them. Forget about being triggered by the right. Forget about being triggered by the left. The rest of us are pissed off and we need to be heard too. All right, that's what this show is for. Hi, Barnes. Barney's here. This show, I'm not doing this. Hold on. Got to do this properly because we have unveiled our first list of donors for the month of January. That's right. This show runs on your gratuities. It has since 2021. You drop a little tip and I keep doing the show. As long as people seem to keep wanting the show, hear the show, I'll keep doing the show. I wish there was more of you that wanted to hear the show, but, we're trapped in this weird little midsection where enough of you are giving money that I feel compelled to do it. And so here we are 4 years later. Tip the show if you want this kind of talk radio to continue. Kind of talk radio you don't hear on the radio because I refuse. Yeah, if I'm being honest, I haven't even been offered a job in talk radio in like 3 years. I used to say I refuse because, I turned down 2 jobs at AM talk radio stations because they wanted me to be completely different than what I am. They're like, hey, but you're going to vote Republican now, right? And I'm like, yeah, probably not. I'm going to vote for whoever the person is that that I like. One guy, I told you about this guy down in New Orleans. He looked at me. I said to him, I go, this is really just not my format. I go, I don't do static political talk. I'm not just going to carry water for one side. And he goes, yeah, but you can fake it. You're good enough. Yeah, that's a big market media boss. That's a little pulling the curtain back on how this all goes. Yeah, you can fake it. And if I was unprincipled and inauthentic, I might have gone, all right. But, I like my sleep, and I would not have been able to sleep if I wasn't able to just be myself. So here I am, relegated to this stream on radiomisfits.com. We've been doing it for 4 years, and it's all because you people keep dropping stuff in the little tip jar. Thank you so much. Every day I like to award the title of executive producer to an individual who has tipped the show to an extent that was louder, if you will. than everybody else. Today we got one. We haven't had one in 2 days. How about JoJo? Today's show is brought to us by JoJo. Thank you, JoJo. April's in the chat room. She wants to wish everybody a happy TGIF. That stands for, wait, let me think. Thank God it's Friday, right? Is that what she's saying? That's what she's saying. TGIF to you, apes. Apes. That's not a good name. I never realized, I'm thinking about it. Like, is that a nickname for April? It would be if I was Apes. Hey, Apes. It's not a good one, though, for a girl. What up, Apes? I'm trying to think. I never had a friend named April growing up, so there was never an opportunity for me to try that one out. Anyway, okay. A lot of stuff we got to talk about today. We've got, well, there's another shooting involving jackboot federal thugs, this time in Portland. What a surprise, Portland! Those troublemakers, or at least we're told. So we'll talk about that. We'll give you the latest from Portland. We've also got some new video from Minneapolis, the other one that occurred a couple of days ago. We've got new video, a different angle, so we'll watch that and we'll break that down. We're also going to spend some time today talking about showing video from and just kind of imagining the world that comes next. Why is the media completely ignoring this Iranian situation? There is a situation going on in Iran that is earth-shaking. That's how big this is. It will completely change the dynamic of global politics, but more to the point, Middle Eastern politics. And I think we all know how important Middle Eastern politics has been to the stability of, well, the whole rest of the world, especially those that depend on the oil that comes from that place. So Iran is going through some shit, and we're going to watch some videos and we're going to talk about it. And I'm also going to just kind of, why is it being ignored? I have a theory on why this isn't the breaking news, live coverage, not boots on the ground, but reporters on the ground. I have a theory, and I'll share that with you coming up in today's rant. We're also going to talk about the Golden Globes, the Globe and Globals. They're coming up this Sunday. You know, I love my entertainment, so we're going to do a deep dive into TV and movies. Oop, hold on. My buddy Al just sent me a text. Al, let me check. Can you hold on, pal? I'm sorry. I may have just made a big error. Okay, Al, let me check. I'll check. I'm sorry, buddy. Where was I? Hold on. I got to go back to... There we go. Some of y'all have my phone number. You just text me during the show, and we do it this way. Some of you don't. Some of you never will. No, I'm kidding. Where was I? I forgot what I was talking about. Golden Globes. That's right. You know, I love my entertainment. I'm a big TV and film watcher. In fact, if I didn't have to spend so much time talking about the divisive politics that is destroying this nation, this show might just... Is that how today's going to go? Is it going to be a day like that? This show might exclusively just be TV and movie talk because, you know, that's the distraction that I choose. So the Golden Globes are this weekend, and anybody who knows me knows that these are my favorite award shows. They're the only ones that I think are worth watching these days. You know why? It's TV and movies. TV and movies. The Emmys have the gall to make you want to sit there for 3 hours on a Sunday night and just watch exclusively television shit. The Oscars do the same with movies, not the Globes. The Globes give you both. But bam, bam. Right there, you can root for your favorite TV show and your favorite movie. We've got the nominees in the major categories. That's film and television. We'll go through and I'll give you my predictions because I'm Johnny TV. Football picks. We got football. I'm so strung out. I am so strung out. Good game last night, huh? Good game. Fuck Miami. God, jeez, really? Ugh. Notre Dame could have beaten Ole Miss. I believe it. I believe Notre Dame could have beaten Ole Miss. Notre Dame should be in the national championship again, but instead it's Miami, and we'll just all have to deal with it. Tonight's the big game, though. Tonight's the big game that I think will decide who the eventual national champion is. We've got Indiana and Oregon. Battle of the Big Ten, and Ohio State or Wisconsin or Michigan aren't even involved. Look at that. Indiana and Oregon. 2 Big Ten teams battling for their spot on stage at the big dance. They'll be taking on Miami. But the NFL playoffs, man, they're starting this weekend. And we're going to spend some time at the end of the show where I'm just going to, kebelch. I just made up a Jewish word. Look at that. Kebelch. Not a Jewish word. Sounds like a Jewish word. So let's go with it. Kebelch. I'm going to kebelch for a while about the NFL playoffs and what I'm going through, because I'm just totally distracted. I am distracted. Hi, Kevin. Kevin's in the chat room. Come on, everybody. Come one, come all. Adam wants to know, this has become my, is it Matt Damon that Jimmy Kimmel always does the bit with? Like the ongoing Jimmy Kimmel bit is at the end of each show. He says, well, we have to apologize for bumping Matt Damon. He says it like every night. By the way, that's kind of like become what this is. The last couple of days I've been saying, we got celebrity mom group drama. I want to talk about it, and we haven't been able to talk about it, but we're going to talk about it now. Anyway, can I tell you a little secret? Can I tell you a little secret about Jimmy Kimmel and about how, that bit that Jimmy Kimmel does at the end of the show where he says, we want to apologize for bumping Matt Damon. That's an old radio bit. It's not even a bit, because a radio bit is something that the audience is supposed to be in on and know about and know that it's funny, right? But that's something that like real duplicitous radio guys used to do back in the 80s and in the 90s. And Jimmy Kimmel comes from radio, so I think that's where he pulls it from. Again, we're talking about the bit that Jimmy Kimmel does, or I don't even know if he still does it, but at the end of each show, he used to always say, and we want to apologize to Matt Damon. We just didn't have time for him tonight. And then he'll tease whatever the next show is, coming up tomorrow, So it's an old radio bit. And the person who did it most was a guy by the name of Mancow Muller. And really all it is a deception to the audience. It's just an inauthentic piece of shit host trying to manipulate the audience into thinking that he's much more important than he is. So at the end of shows like that, this guy Mancow will go, hey man, we're out of time. I just want to say, man, I'm sorry for Eddie Van Halen. I know we were trying to get to you and he was waiting on hold. Eddie, we'll get you tomorrow. Eddie Van Halen on the show tomorrow. Sorry, Eddie, man. Just apologize to him, would you? Would you just tell Eddie that we'll get to him? Eddie Van Halen was never going to be on the show. But when you put that out there, the audience hears it and goes, wow, I'm listening to a guy that knows Eddie Van Halen. And I'm listening to a guy that knows Eddie Van Halen enough that he can tell Eddie Van Halen, hey, I'll talk to you tomorrow. My guy's the coolest. It's the bullshit that we've all gotten accustomed to from media. Endless bullshit. And now here we are in 2026 and nobody trusts media anymore. And you've got people like me, formerly members of the media, who are now doing this kind of independent media every day for you fine folks. And I appreciate you. Yeah, April's confirming. I don't know if he does it anymore on Kimmel, but it used to be an ongoing Damon thing. She says, April, Damon sneaking on the show in Ben Affleck's suit was a fun bit. I don't remember that bit, but I'm sure it was fun because Kimmel is fun. Okay. What do we want to do? Guys, so I don't know what the world is like where you live, but last night here in the Chicagoland area, the Great Lakes rose up and said, hey, this is a fucked up climate. Let's make it even crazier. And we had some weather last night that if you're in the Chicago area, I know some of you, I see you in here, some of you are. What was that exactly last night? It's January here in Chicago. Here's what it should be. It should be about 27 degrees. There should be ice and snow everywhere. The wind should be not insane, but certainly brisk enough to cause you to need to wear some sort of a face garment. And that's what it should be. That's what it should be. That's what we would expect. We are preparing here in the Midwest for the long drudge of the lame months. Let's be honest. January and February are the lame months. These are the lame, hardcore months. It's like August in late July in Texas, where you're just like, holy fuck, this is just going to go on for like the next 7 weeks. And we got to deal with it being 110 every day. Well, that's kind of what we expect here in Chicago this time of year. What we got last night was like 65 degrees, Seriously, I was standing out on the back deck at my mom's house overlooking her lake, and I'm like in shorts and a hoodie. And the wind is, I was getting high, but I'm sitting out there. I couldn't light the bowl. It was, hey, it's legal here. I'm totally legal. Got a receipt and everything. Anyway, the weather was crazy last night. It was 65 degrees. There was dense fog. Because it was 65 degrees, there was like 100% humidity. And then just to keep things interesting, we had hurricane force wind gusts. Like out of nowhere, it would just all of a sudden be like 70-degree wind gusts, ripping tiles off roofs. There are trees down in my neighborhood. Oh, and then we had the intermittent thunderstorms that dumped more rain in the Chicago area yesterday in a 3-hour period than all of last January. There's more precipitation and moisture in a 3-hour period yesterday than in all of January last year. As a matter of fact, they went back 10 years, but they were showing it compared to last year, and then they said most in 10 years. For some reason, it became spring, and it just dumped buckets of water. So we also had flooding. We had trees down, we had crazy winds, but here's the bizarre part about the thunderstorms that came through yesterday. There was like 10 of them. And they lasted like 2 minutes each. And they were spread out along 3-hour period. It'd be like thunderstorms and it's pouring buckets, and then it'd be stopping and be nice. And you go out there and you're like, hey, it's 65 and foggy. Then like, here comes another thunderstorm. It was the craziest weather situation. Now I know I've been down in Texas for 5 years, and we pretty much have, Texas weather's unpredictable too, but not like this. I'm sorry. This was just nuts. It was so bad. It made national news. The Chicago Bulls game had to be suspended or postponed. The Bulls play indoors, okay? This was happening outdoors. Here's what happened at the Bulls game yesterday. The Bulls, as do many NBA teams, they share an arena with a hockey team. So there is ice underneath the floor. And what occurred yesterday at the United Center, because of this bizarre-ass weather in January, the ice underneath the floor, coupled with the 100% humidity and fog in the environment, caused the floor to become soaking wet. So the basketball players are out there, the NBA players are playing, and all of a sudden there's like what condensation was emerging from the floor to the extent that there were puddles accumulating. And they couldn't stop it. They postponed the game for an hour, and they kept mopping it, and it would come back, and they shut down the ice. I don't know what they did, but they eventually went, we're not going to be able to play this basketball game indoors today because of this insane weather outside. It's crazy. Anyway, so here we are. We wake up, and it's no longer 65. It was freaking cold. I don't know what it is now, but the temperature is going to plummet. And then tomorrow we're going to get snow. And tomorrow it's going to be cold. So kickoff of the football game, there's probably going to be snow on the ground, even though it was spring last night. There's going to be snow on the ground, and it's going to be freezing. It's going to be like balls cold. So winter's back. But anyway, that explains to you why my cold is going insane. My body doesn't know what it's supposed to be reacting to. It doesn't know if it's supposed to be, 100% humidity and 65 degrees, or if it's supposed to be what it was last weekend, 5 degrees and covered with snow. Al says it's all about La Nina in the Gulf. Now, I don't know what all that means, but it was weird. It was freaky last night. Do you hear thunder? It's jarring to hear thunder in January. Now, we've had blizzards in Chicago that I've lived through where thunder has been a player in it, and that's weird. That's why you notice it. You're like, we got thunder? Why is there thunder in this blizzard? Last night we had thunder. It was just weird. It was strange. Oh, also, it confirmed my belief that thunder is about 10 times louder in Texas. Thunder... Y'all in Texas get real thunder. And I had somebody explain it to me. I think it was one of the weather guys. I said, why is thunder so much louder here? And he said, oh, that's very interesting. It is. And apparently in Texas, it's because it's flat. It's because everything is flat. So when the noise, it's about amplification and it bounces. I don't know what that is, but anyway, that's the explanation. Thunder is a lot louder. I've heard thunder in Texas. That made me jump. You're like, Jesus. I've never heard thunder in the Midwest that made me jump. It's thunder. We know what thunder is. Down there, it's a lot different. Let's see here. Al's got more information. He's our weather expert in the chat room. At least that's the designation I'm giving him. Al says warmer water means warmer climate throughout the U.S. Boring. All right. Thank you, Al. Appreciate it. I don't know. Weather talk. Look, I'm only doing weather talk because it was interesting. It was a very strange situation last night here. All right. Let's get this thing started. I waste far too much time being, well, there goes my little TV. Got a little TV here. And when I say a little TV, I mean my phone. I got the news breaking, because God knows there's breaking news happening all over the world. You got to be dialed in, got to be paying attention. All right, let's get started with the big story. The first thing we're going to talk about is last night around dinner time, started to see reports that there'd been another shooting. Federal agents were involved. They shot people in Portland. And, I got to be honest with you. My first thing, because I have this healthy, it's probably unhealthy at this point because it's fueled by rage, but I suppose we'll still call it healthy. I have this healthy cynicism when it comes to news stories that are similar to a much larger news story that has dominated the headlines. So obviously I'm talking about the Minnesota shooting in Minneapolis. Renee Good was shot and killed by Jonathan Ross. We're saying his name now? Say his name. Jonathan Ross and ICE, Homeland Security, Border Patrol, does it matter? I don't know. Doesn't matter. Apparently it does matter because they have different handbooks and different trainings. But, to us, the rank and file public, they all just look like jackbooted thugs to me. Anyway, so the story in Minneapolis was kind of dominating everything. And we were all shook by it, and rightfully so. The video is pretty freaky. But then, the next day it's like, oh, another one in Portland. So the healthy skepticism in me goes, okay, they're trying to draft off the momentum of this other story. I bet this thing in Portland is nothing. Here's what it's like. If a plane crashes, and thank God we haven't had to deal with any plane crashes in about a decade. Seriously, when was the last time like an American commercial airliner? It doesn't happen a lot, but should it happen, should God forbid, a plane go down, the news will cover it for 3 days. Oh, big Anderson Cooper live from the scene in Shanksville, Ohio, or wherever the fuck this, is going to be the crash site. So they'll do that. They'll milk it. And then what you'll see in the following days is anything plane related will be treated like breaking news. We've got a second plane crash being reported, this in Fort Lauderdale. And then you see it, and it's a little like fucking twin engine Cessna that had engine trouble, but they're treating it because it's related, because they've already got your attention with the other thing. So they're amplifying stories that wouldn't otherwise be amplified because they fit nicely with the bigger story that they're doing. And that's what I kind of thought Portland was at first. I was like, oh, geez, this is probably something. This is probably not at all like the Minneapolis case. And it's starting to look like it's not anything at all like the Minneapolis case. So here's the story about the two people who were shot in Portland, Oregon last night. They were shot by Border Patrol agents. It says border shooting latest. State's Attorney General says he's opening a probe. Okay, so Oregon there, the Oregon State's Attorney says he is opening a probe into what happened. So let's find out what exactly happened, or what's being reported has happened. And again, I no longer, and I made this statement a couple of months ago, and it began when all the dancing around the Epstein files started to occur, right? When all of that dance, I decided that I will no longer trust any of the federal institutions that I have my entire life depended on. When the Supreme Court says something, it's like, okay, that's law. When the Department of Justice would say something, I'd be like, well, okay, maybe I didn't vote for this party, but it's the Department of Justice and I believe it. I don't do that anymore. There is nothing that comes from the executive, the judicial, or even even the legislative branch that I trust anymore. Now, I never really did trust the legislative branch, and neither should you, because they're all a bunch of con men. But still, the executive and, justice and state and all of these departments, I used to hold their word as gospel. Not anymore. So when the federal government starts to paint the picture about what occurred in Portland first, I, just like I did with Minneapolis, see it for what it is. Oh, they're trying to get out in front of this story. They're trying to define the narrative before the facts come out and actually tell us what happened. A Customs and Border Protection agent shot and injured 2 people in Portland, Oregon, Thursday. This was Thursday afternoon, by the way. This didn't even happen. Like, I thought it was breaking when they were reporting it, but it turns out it happened 5 hours earlier. A Customs and Border Protection agent shot and injured 2 people in Portland, Oregon, Thursday. Federal authorities said they weaponized their vehicle against law enforcement. See, fuck that. Fuck that. No. Okay. That's what you're going. I wish I could say that's probably what happened, but I can't say that's probably what happened, because that's probably not what happened based upon, all of the shit that we've heard, the official statements from our government. What a place we're in. I mean, this is unbelievable. The incident came after an ICE officer on Wednesday allegedly shot and killed a woman in her car in Minneapolis, Minnesota. This sparked outrage and backlash against the presence of federal agents there. Similarly, that's a hard one to say. Similarly, the mayor of Portland called for immigration enforcement operations to halt while the investigation is ongoing. Can I say something about the mayor of Portland? I noticed this yesterday. I even tweeted about it. It's just perfect. Look, hey, observation. That's all I'm doing. I'm just sitting here making observations. The Democratic Party is just, they're wondering why it is that they can't reach or relate to or get any kind of voter block out of young, straight American males. Why is every young, straight, my son, I got a 16-year-old son. Why do I have to look at him and worry about the influence of Andrew Tate and, people like that? Why? Because the Democrats have been front-loading men that don't exactly inspire a young man, okay? And the Portland mayor is another one of these guys, dude. He's like, a 150-pound skinny guy with gray slicked back hair. He's wearing a quarter zip. Like, yeah, I used to work on Wall Street, but now I'm a liberal Democrat.
I'm Alex Verche in Washington, and we're coming to you with breaking news. Local and federal sources tell ABC News that federal agents shot.
Anyway, I took one look at the mayor of Portland, and I went, oh, my God. It's another soft boy. Another, just like the mayor of Minneapolis, another soft boy. There is very little masculine representation in the Democratic Party. That's a fact. And that's a problem. And I'm not saying that, it needs to change. I don't give a fuck, honestly. I want to see the rise of an opposition party, an actual opposition party that can win and that can challenge oppressive, draconian bastards like we have now. But I ain't finding that I don't know. I have not seen anyone in the Democratic Party that can win Iowa. Not a single one of them. And that's a problem because, folks, this isn't about inclusion and representation at this point. It's about mounting an opposition to something that I believe is destroying this country. So take off the fucking sweater vests. And then, we do have an example of, something that, is the complete opposite of these quarter zip and sweater vest wearing Democratic men. We got Fetterman. Fetterman is in the news. But Fetterman's, I call him Senator Shrek because I guess he's the opposite, Can we get something maybe in the middle? Can we get something in between Senator Shrek and, some like effete? Look, all of these guys look like they know a lot about wine. You know what I mean? All of these Democratic mayors look like they could sit down and, can I see your wine list? And, this is a fabulous Beaujolais. Fuck that. And fuck these people. All right? Let's get an opposition that can actually go to war and win an election against these monsters. Then, after a couple of cycles of whoever rises out of that, then we can go back to the effeminate sweater vest wearing guys. But those motherfuckers can't win. So let's go. And neither can the blue-haired lesbian bisexual with the nose ring and the crazy dresses. Let's get these fucking people out of the opposition party. We don't need you to be interesting and fun anymore. We need you to be a fucking winner who believes in this country and wants to save it. Thank you. There you go. Excuse me. Hold on a second here. All right, let's get back to the Portland shooting. All right, so here's what happened. All right, I didn't even tell you what happened. I just went off on a rant. Well, that is what the show is called. This incident came after the one Wednesday in Minneapolis. In the Minneapolis case as well, federal officials alleged that the motorist tried to use the car as a weapon. In the Minneapolis case as well, federal authorities alleged that the motorist tried to ram agents who fired defensive shots. The Department of Homeland Security alleged the shooting in Portland occurred while Border Patrol agents were conducting a targeted stop on a vehicle carrying two people allegedly affiliated with the Tren de Aragua gang. That's how you say it. Tren de Aragua. Tren de Aragua. The passenger, who was identified Friday as Yorlenis Betsabeth Zambrano Contreras, was the target of the investigation. So it was the passenger. Is that, I'm guessing, with a name like Betsbeth, that's a woman's name? I don't know. I don't know that your Lenzi is masculine or feminine. I don't know. I'm sorry. Racist. I just don't know. It's an ethnic name. I don't know, but I'm guessing, just from context clues, that Betsabeth is a feminine name. So I guess that's a woman. They were the target. So the woman was the target, according to the Department of Homeland Security. The agents on the stop were part of a CBP, that's Customs and Border Patrol operation, dubbed Operation Oregon. When the agents identified themselves to the vehicle occupants, the driver weaponized his vehicle and attempted to run over law enforcement agents, DHS said in a statement. The driver, who was identified by DHS as Luis David Nico Moncada, was not the target of the operation. He was stopped driving a red Toyota before he and Zambrano Contreras attempted to flee. The agents, as Department of Homeland Security said in their statement, the agent feared for their safety and fired at the vehicle. Homeland Security alleged Friday that both victims were believed to have been undocumented Venezuelan nationals with ties to TDA. Sources stress the investigation is in the preliminary stages and that the information could change. The two people who were shot Thursday were then treated at a hospital for their injuries, and their conditions are unknown. See, they got shot. They drove away. They went to a different location. They called police. Because, folks, there is a difference. I know a lot of you, no, badge is a badge. No, police. The local municipal police. That's who they called. They're not involved with this federal agency that is descended upon Portland and, is doing these operations. So they called the police, and the police called the ambulance, and then they ended up in the hospital. Okay, so let's talk about a couple of things that make this markedly different from what happened in Minnesota. First of all, this was targeted. I'm not a big fan of ICE. I'm not a big fan of the way this has all been going down, but I do believe that we reasonable people can agree that there might be some violent illegals in this country, and we should probably make a concerted effort to round them up and get them out. Violent criminals who are in this country illegally. I think we all signed up for that. What we've been seeing, however, is because of demands from the executive that the numbers look better and bigger, because optics are truly all this president cares about. What we've seen, instead of the precision rounding up of actual criminals, we have seen giant nets being thrown. We are rounding up low-hanging fruit. We are rounding up people who are in the system because they've got addresses on file and you can just go get them. So that's what we're doing. And I think that is the issue that a lot of us normal, reasonable Americans have with the way this is all going down. It seems, now maybe it's because I'm not stupid, but it seems like a lot of this is being done performatively for the cameras and for the statistics so that the president can stand up and say things like, we've deported 10,000. Well, there's not 10,000 rapists in this country illegally, dude. You deported some landscapers and you deported some school janitors and you deported dads. That's what we're pushing back about. Okay. All right. So now, having stated my overall feeling about the way these operations have gone down, it appears that the situation in Portland, and again, this is just how it's being reported from the DHS. And, we take everything that they say. I don't believe in institutions. We take everything that they say with a grain of salt. However, I don't know how you could fake this. I don't know how you could lie about this. Here's the difference. This was a targeted stop. Okay, this was an individual that they had determined, according to them, is a criminal and a member of a gang and an illegal. I mean, the name looks right? The name, you're looking at the name, you're like, okay, it's not Renee Good, blonde woman from Colorado Springs. It's not that. It's a different thing. It seems to fit with what the overall operation is. This also seems targeted, as opposed to the situation with Renee Good, where she was an American citizen exercising her First Amendment right to speak truth to power. She was murdered in the process of that because she pissed off a cop who didn't like the idea that somebody was challenging him. That's what happened to Renee Good. That's the situation there. It's about behavior and training of these officers. In the case of Portland, it really does seem like this is what we want them doing. We want them doing targeted stops on people that they have identified as being troublemakers. We don't want to see any more moms being dragged out of cars in carpool lanes. This is a different situation. Now, again, the problem is that we don't know if any of this is true because this is what the Department of Homeland Security is reporting about the Portland incident. The police there in Oregon say that they have opened up an investigation. They don't know any of the details yet. So they are different. Okay. Well, the Minnesota thing is a shocking seeming abuse of authority. Okay. That's what Minneapolis is. That should concern us all. What happened in Portland to me, and this is just off of, I would call it a first read, but trust me, I read a lot on this morning and last night. The thing in Portland seems like maybe these people were, not great people. And maybe this was a correct stop. And this is what us reasonable people think our ICE operation should be about, targeting people who are actually dangerous. We'll find out. We'll see what Oregon says. But this is not the same scenario as occurred in Minnesota the day before. It's just not. It's a completely different thing. This looks like a law enforcement action against somebody who was deemed a criminal. See, Renee Good wasn't deemed a criminal. That was just something that flared up in the moment and everybody lost their shit. And now we've got a dead mother shot 3 times in the face. That's a whole different kind of stew. This thing in Portland, it seems like maybe this person got pulled over, was complying in the beginning, read the room, saw what was happening, attempted to flee, and very well may have used his car in this way to get out of there. I don't believe that's the case with Renee Good. But again, I have the luxury of having seen that video now from about 5 different angles. But this guy, I don't know. Do we have video? Will we have video? All of these officers are supposed to have body cams. I believe that's the law, but we don't do laws anymore. Well, I mean, we do laws because new laws get headlines. What we don't do is enforce them. We don't enforce laws. Let's see here. Asked whether the passenger, Zambrano Contreras, is linked to a previous shooting. That's the other thing. They thought that these people were, or at least that's the reason for the targeted. There was some link to some shooting that occurred last week. Asked whether the passenger, Zambrano Contreras, is linked to a previous shooting, the police chief said, I can't comment on whether or not that's the case. We don't know who these individuals are. That's what Portland police is saying. I don't know. That seems maybe a bit more responsible as opposed to what the DHS, in the minute the story becomes a thing, our federal government is going out there with, we've got all the answers, we know exactly what this is. If that doesn't strike you as guilty behavior, trying to get out in front of something, a fuck up that you know you did, get out in front of it. Get out, just tell people what it is right now and let them chew on that. And then when the facts come, you can say, but no. All right, so that's the deal in Portland. How are they doing? How are they doing? Are they recovering in hospital? I think the woman took one in the chest, and the husband, I've heard reports that they're married. I've heard reports that he's a pimp and she's a prostitute. Keith Wilson, that's the guy's name. Mayor Keith Wilson, he of the quarter zip and the effeminate stance. He's the Democrat that just wants ICE out. Oh, stop it. I am not saying that I am against the inclusion of effeminate males. I'm not saying that. There's room for everybody. There should be. There doesn't seem to be room for like regular dudes who are Democrats. Doesn't seem to be room for that. It's all these guys who, have extensive wine knowledge. I wanted to be a sommelier, but then I got hired on Wall Street, where I was introduced to the quarter zip, which I love. These people need to get out of the opposition party. They are not fighters. All right. Let's see. What else do we got here? All right. We got the Portland story here. Okay. So we've also got new murder. Jesus. New video, a new angle. CNN played it last night. Let's watch it. This is new. This is the Renee Good shooting that occurred in Minnesota. Let's check it out. Let's let Anderson Cooper frame it, because we're going to be playing a clip from his show. So we're going to get all of his. You know what? I'm just streaming, right? Stream of consciousness. I almost just broke bad on Anderson Cooper. I honestly don't have anything against Anderson. I think he's fine. I think he's totally normal. He's not, he's not like everybody else on CNN. John Berman's pretty good. I like John Berman. He's good. But all of these other people on CNN, anyway, point is that, by the way, have you seen that new show that they got on CNN? There's like a new show with a new guy who came out of nowhere, and now suddenly it's on every night in prime time. I haven't seen it enough to know when it's on, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Also, CNN last night, CNN is trying to change some things. They're trying to make their shows a little bit more interesting, which is deeply needed. One of the things that they've done, they're doing stupid shit too. Like tonight, Friday, like for some reason, the entire CNN prime lineup will be like from a kitchen. There'll be like people cooking in the background. Seriously, it's the dumbest fucking thing. It's obviously a manipulation. Just do the goddamn news and have reasonable conversations. That's all we want from you. We're not trying to get some hybrid global breaking news Martha Stewart bullshit. You're not a morning show. We're not doing a cooking segment. Fucking Iran is on fire and you guys are fucking making waffles. Seriously, tune into CNN tonight. You'll see they'll do their show from the kitchen. It's the weirdest thing. Anyway. They did start doing something that I noticed last night on CNN during their debates. They never used to do this. They are doing split screens now. They are using split screens so that when people are talking mad shit about something that somebody else just said, they are now showing the person who is being criticized. They didn't used to do that. I know you think, yeah, they did, Pugs. No, they didn't. No, they absolutely did not. They are doing it now. I know what you're thinking. No, they did not. They never did it, and they never held these long shots on people who don't know they're on camera reacting to having, somebody from the opposite party talk shit about what they just said. It's fascinating. It's good. It's good. They're doing some good things. Here, this is Anderson Cooper last night. He had new video of, what? Why did that happen? Hold on. I don't know. I clicked on the video to watch the video and then suddenly jumped to a Norton antivirus page and something started going, so I had to click out. Hold on.
Criminals of today.
All right. Here we go. Let's watch this. This is from CNN last night. It's a new angle of the Renee Good shooting there in Minneapolis. We're going to have to watch a commercial, though, for this guy. For Control Room. I don't know what this is.
Doing it without any physical presence.
There's like 15 billion passwords on the dark web right now as we speak.
They have a voice cloned daughter.
Why do all these? What is this?
This is the golden
Come on,
age
mother.
of scamming.
The new battlefield is online, and you are.
This is a Mediaite. It's a site that I use for a lot of video. They have extra long commercials that don't allow you to click out.
Mentioned CNN has obtained some new video. Again, it's grainy and distant, but it shows 4 full minutes leading up to the shooting. It shows Renee Good's maroon Honda Pilot entering from the right there. Then 20 seconds later, someone gets out on the passenger side. We don't know who or why this person leaves the car. We then see her turn and pull perpendicular across the street, seeming to block the way. But as you see here, leaving room for vehicles to pass by her on either side. Finally, there is this new angle of the federal officer who shot her. He arrives, another federal SUV pulls up. As the ICE officer briefly goes back to his car, then he returns, and with another agent grabbing at her door, she starts to move forward. Again, it's hard to see from this angle, followed by 3 gunshots in quick succession. 4 minutes in all from start to finish. But for all the video that may reveal, it says nothing about why Renee Good was where she was or what she was doing there. And it's not all we don't know. Somehow, the administration, without offering any evidence, seems terribly certain about who this woman is and what motivated her. CNN has obtained.
All right, so we're going to watch this video again. There are a couple of things that I want to point out. Oh, by the way, first, the woman in a lot of the videos that can be heard screaming F-bombs, and most curiously, the woman who is screaming, "You just shot my neighbor. What the fuck? You shot my neighbor." Like, she says that over and over again. Multiple sources are identifying that woman as the wife of the victim. And in this video, we see the wife, who was the passenger of Renee Good. We don't have the wife's name. We see the wife get out of the car and then, I guess, start filming. Because we've seen her video. Her wife gets shot in the face 3 times. And then she curiously describes the victim as my neighbor, not my wife. And doesn't seem to be all of that, "Oh my God, you just killed somebody I love." Seems to be way more, I don't get it. I don't get, "That's my neighbor. You just shot my neighbor." I don't know. I don't know what is going on there, but that's weird. And I just wanted to point that out. I also want to point out on this video how we are now seeing, at least a couple of seconds before the incident, we are seeing what she was doing with her car. She makes a bit of a U-turn kind of a deal, and she lets her passenger, who is her wife, she lets her passenger out onto the sidewalk, and then Renee Good sort of pulls across the street as if she is blocking traffic. Now, here is what we know, guys, okay? Let's be honest about what we know. Let's not just, knuckle down into, I'll make myself bigger, sorry. Let's just not knuckle down and lean into what we want to believe. What we know is that she was an active neighborhood observer. We know this, okay? She wasn't innocent. She is speaking truth to power. She is legally in the right to do what she's doing. She's doing nothing wrong. It may bother you. Many of you may be bothered when you see people protesting things, but you can't say they're not allowed to do it and still call yourself an American. So she's allowed to do that, at least the way the laws are now. Of course, we're getting new laws every day. None of them are being enforced, but we'll see. As of right now, you can videotape, you can observe, you can shadow authorities, be they local or federal. This has been held up in 7 federal circuit courts around the country. Every single time it's held up, it is a protected right of anyone born in this country. We are allowed to audit the people who are acting upon their authority vested in them by us. We're allowed. We're supposed to. This is what civics used to teach us, but, not anymore. So whatever you think, fucking troublemaker, whatever, she was allowed to do what she did. Now, let's parse that a little bit, right? Let's talk about municipal infractions. In this moment, was she making an illegal U-turn? Maybe. Okay. Are you really going to lean into that? Are you really going to be like, well, she was causing a road hazard, so you shoot her 3 times in the face? So when she decides to no longer be a road hazard and get out of the way, you shoot her 3 times in the face? So shut the fuck up about that, because I have heard that as well. She was blocking traffic. You can't do that, troublemaker. Disrupt and inconvenience is kind of the bread and butter of the protest class. So yeah, they're allowed to disrupt and inconvenience, and you got to deal with it because you're a fucking American. You know, back before I moved back to Texas, so when was this? This was probably 2015, 2016, I think, when I was living here in Chicago. It was right around the time of the rise of Black Lives Matter. You know, there was a lot of Chicago was an epicenter for Black Lives Matter. And I used to say, I used to drive home from downtown Chicago and purposely try and get myself involved in a Black Lives Matter traffic jam. I just wanted to watch it. It was something that I thought was cool and unique about where I lived. So I would drive. So other people, goddamn protesters, I'm just trying to get home. You know, I'm sitting in traffic going, fuck yeah. All right, America, boop, boop. I don't even know what the hell you're protesting. I don't even know what the specific cause is. But I love that we live in a country where we're allowed to see what our elected officials are doing and call bullshit on it. And if you don't appreciate that, you're not an American. So whatever you think of Renee Good, she was doing what she was allowed to do as an American citizen, and the cop didn't like it. The jackbooted thug didn't like it. Oh, Pugs, how can you call him that? You're obviously on one side over the other. Nah, I'm just looking at the video, and I'm calling the guy who shot a woman 3 times in the face a jackbooted thug. This video, let's watch it one more time. Hold on. We'll go back to it again. I want to show it now. Hold on. From this perspective. Here we go. Can we make it bigger? Is there a way to make it even bigger? Maybe not. Here we go.
In some new video again.
We'll break it down. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to shut Anderson Cooper up. I'm going to shut Anderson Vanderbilt Cooper up, and we're going to just, because I think I can talk over it if I don't have the sound. All right, here we go. All right, so here she is. She's pulling up. See this? This is like from some Ring doorbell camera. She is pulling up along the side street here. Okay. Now there's other cars going by. She pulls up, comes to a complete stop, and immediately somebody exits the passenger side. This somebody we now know has been identified as her wife or widow. Well, I guess it's a widow, right? Even if it is a lesbian, it's a widow. We still use the term. Is it, though? I don't know. What do you got? I'm calling her a widow. There you go. So the widow, she gets out of the car, and Rachel Good then does this. Okay, she's out of the car. You can see her out of the car. All right, now here, Rachel Good does this. What's she doing here? This is the thing that a lot of people are up in arms about. She's obviously causing a road hazard. Okay. Obviously, she's making an illegal U-turn. That's a one-way street. Okay. All right. None of these crimes, by the way, should result in being shot 3 times in the face. But okay, I understand. It was a concurrence of events that led to that. But here she is. What I believe she's doing right here is I believe she's intentionally trying to stop the procession of traffic that is coming. She is trying to either impede or cause some sort of a detour for what I believe they've identified as a caravan of ICE cops doing, missions in the neighborhood. Here we go. All right, so now she's parked like that. Hold on. Now, I don't know what this white truck is here. That might be another observer, as they're called. But here, as you can see, she is allowing cars to pass. This was another ICE vehicle that she waved through. This is the first one. She's waving them through. What do I believe is happening here? I believe that her, as an observer, has spotted and identified the ICE caravan. She pulled over with her wife. The wife got out, and she said, okay, I'm going to follow them. I don't know what the hell the wife was going to do. Maybe they believed that there was a targeted action in the neighborhood, and the wife was staking out a position to get it on videotape. I don't know. But what is obvious to me here is that she is plainly seen in other angles waving ICE cars through. Why? Because she wanted to follow them. because she's trying to follow them. That's what she does. This ICE vehicle goes right through. All right, we're going to go through. We got our job. It's the second one that is the problem. Here we go. See, now the second one just stops. You see her in other angles waving this guy through too. Like, go, I'm going to follow you. Go. Well, this guy doesn't like it. This guy has an ego problem. This guy is an officer with a badge and a gun who's been given the authority to fuck with people, and he's got that ego that is out of control. Because what this dude should have done was he should have drove on past and just accepted the fact that this country has a First Amendment and there are people that don't like the things that he's been tasked with doing. And it is their God-given right as United States citizens to watch and to follow and to document. But he doesn't like that. That bugs him. He's been triggered. So what he decides in the moment, or there's a number of officers, ICE officers in this car. What they decide is, no, they're not going to go by. They're going to fucking ruin her day. They're going to roust her. They're going to arrest her. I told you about this yesterday. There may be no charges here. There may be nothing that could stick. But for the next 12 hours, she's going to be handcuffed and in some fucking dank tank somewhere at a county jail. They're going to get released and no charges will be filed because once the prosecutor sees what she was arrested for, they're going to go, yeah, I'm not going to fucking go to trial on that. And she'll be released. So there will be no real charges. And the cops know this. But the cops also know that the next 12 hours of her day are gone and they're fucked up. She can't pee when she wants to. If she's thirsty, she can't call anybody. It's going to suck. Have you ever been processed? Have you ever been locked up? It sucks. So that's what they decided to do here. They're like, you know what? Let's not just go past and ignore it and acknowledge that this is the right of every American citizen to fuck with us. No, let's let our egos get the better of us, get triggered, and then fuck with her. And once she decides that she's not going to be fucked with, that's when Mr. Small Dick decides to pull his gun and put 3 in her face. It's clear murder to me. It's clear murder because we have people, this man in particular in this situation with 10 years of experience in both Border Patrol and Homeland Security. This man is obviously unfit for this job if he thinks firing 3 times in her face was the solution to this problem. It was an inconvenience. She was getting out of the way. The wheels are obviously turned. She wasn't trying to hit you. She made contact with you, but that was because you, for some reason, in the most weird move ever, in the moment, decided to push off on the car. It looked like you were physically trying to stop the car. You fucking idiot. And when you couldn't do that, you pulled your gun and you shot and killed her. You fired the first shot when her tires were already clearly turned away from you. She was moving away from you. That's what this video shows. At least as far as I interpret it. But I guess we all have different eyes. I guess our eyes work differently. All right, so now here we go. Now they're getting out. They're approaching the car. They're going to roust her. They're going to fuck with her. They're going to try. Now she's like, nope, never mind. I'm not going. She is backing up, and she is clearly turning the wheels away from the guys holding the gun. Turning, cranking it. Now, obviously turning. Boom, boom, boom. She shot. That's murder. Sorry, case closed. Vice President gets up on stage and riffs for like 20 minutes on this thing, and he sees something completely different, which truth doesn't exist. All right, there you go. That's the latest. That's the latest video. Jonathan Ross, I guess is his name. Isn't that also the name of a stand-up comic or something? I don't know if that's going to be good for his business or not, but Jonathan Ross is the name of the shooter, the man who murdered Renee Good. But don't worry, he's being completely, the feds are saying, I didn't do anything wrong. Yeah? Okay. Let's let the state of Minnesota weigh in on that. We'll see what the state of Minnesota says. Because, hey, you can clear him of federal charges, but I don't think the FBI is going to be bringing charges on him anyway. Minnesota's who you got to worry about, and a president can't just get rid of state charges. Separation of church and state. Separation of church and state. Separation of church and state. Remember that, conservatives? That's one of your core values. So fuck off with that bullshit. Oh, I'm sorry. Conservatives no longer have any core values. Although we are going to talk about Tucker Carlson and what Tucker Carlson is getting into these days. Tucker Carlson, man, would you be surprised to learn? Well, I'm not gonna tell you. Tucker Carlson has a take on the Minnesota thing that is shocking. All right, so we saw the new video. Here's another thing. I wanted to show this video. This is going around on social media. I talked about it yesterday. That's why I want to show this video. We discussed what are the rules as they stand on January 9th, 2026. What are the rules concerning filming police officers, ICE agents, Border Patrol, FBI, whatever? What are the rules for us, the citizens, pulling out our phone and documenting what we see? Well, here are the rules. If it's in public, there are no rules. You can film anything. If police are doing something in public, in the view of you, a citizen, you have the legal right to record and document the actions. As I said, this has been tried 7 times now in recent months because of these Border Patrol situations. All 7 federal circuit courts have decided that without even hesitation, this is 100% the right of an American citizen. So let's watch this. This is, remember, it is 100% the right of the American citizen. So watch this.
Interfering with her operations. How you doing? Good. Interfering with her operations. You can be arrested under 18 U.S.C. 111. Nope. We will arrest you. You've been interfering with her operations. We're following us, yes.
The Nazis do not want you documenting what they're... Why? Why? If you're doing righteous work, if you're doing something that you're proud of, why the masks? Because we're afraid of liberals online. Oh, fuck you. Then don't do a job that you have to worry about this kind of shit, you piece of shit. Anyway, masks and completely lying under a badge of authority, completely lying to a citizen about what is and isn't legal. Cops are allowed to just make up what is and isn't legal anymore, or now, I guess, because that's what's happening here. They are lying to you. Now, I don't know if they are intentionally lying. They might just be stupid. That could be the thing. These men could be stupid, and they might really think it's illegal, which is a whole nother problem because, once again, badge and a gun. They're either being stupid or they are lying to this person. Now, you will watch as this moves forward. They start to create things that he's doing that are illegal. He starts to, and how appropriate a term is this? They start to trump up bullshit charges. So let's watch. Let's watch how we, American citizens, are being jackbooted by these masked Nazis.
Numerous times. What you're doing, dude. Numerous times.
Not interfering.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
If you continue, you will be in handcuffs. You will be arrested. You will be prosecuted.
U.S. Code 111. Get that through your head, dude.
Yeah. Good job. I'm not breaking the law, and you fucking know it.
Yes, you are.
Not breaking the law, and you fucking know it. Never got in front of everyone, never.
One more time, and I'll put you in handcuffs.
Hey, look at that. Look at that. He doesn't like the way he's being talked to. He doesn't. How dare you raise your voice at me? I'm a policeman. Gave this guy one more time or what, fuck stick? You're gonna just completely violate my civil rights? I'm allowed to call you an asshole. One more time.
Bro,
one more time.
Bro.
Keep it up.
Step the fuck off.
No, I'll stand right here, pal. Right here all day.
If I fucking touch you, then you're gonna fucking go arrest me.
Right all day.
Yeah, fuck you.
You're worthless.
Fuck you.
Worthless.
Fuck you.
You are.
Fuck you.
Yeah, go on.
Hold your fucking dogs back.
All right, there you have it. That is not the way I want authorities hiding behind a badge and a gun to be acting when they're mixing with the public. You can't just fucking ignore that guy. You got to ignore that guy. We've seen it millions of times. We have seen protesters screaming in the face of New York City police officers or Washington police officers at these protests. We have seen these stone-faced professionals just take it because they understand that's part of it. These Border Patrol people, these ICE people, they are not cut from that same cloth. These people were just hired within the last couple of months because they got laid off from their security job at Walmart and now see an opportunity to become a Fed. These are not men of character or quality. We just mass hired a bunch of the fucking worst among us and gave them authority. You know, this is how the police departments in America started. I don't know if you know the history here, but this is how policing in America started. You know that there didn't used to be police forces. Like New York didn't have a police force. If somebody got murdered and somebody needed to find out what happened, there were detective agencies. The most famous among them were the Pinkertons. The Pinkertons were set up in every city, and they were like a privatized kind of police force or law enforcement or whatever you want to call it. But when police forces first began in New York, Boston, and Chicago, I believe those are the three earliest big city modern police forces. Do you know who they hired for their first round of fucking cops? Irish immigrants with criminal pasts and drinking problems. That's who they hired and gave badges and guns to. No train. That's why the stereotype of the Irish cop became a thing. Because the political bosses knew they could control the Irish with free drinks on voting day, and they also knew that the Irish were troublemakers who didn't mind busting heads. So they went and hired in New York, Boston, and Chicago almost exclusively violent Irish criminals to be the first police. So that's what American policing is founded on. Now, we've gotten better over the years. We've seen depictions in movies and honorable men, Joe Friday from Dragnet. We know that there are good cops out there. Hell, some of us, like myself, were raised by good cops and around good cops. We know that there are good cops. These fucking guys are not good cops. Good cops do not lose their shit on citizens. Now, why are they doing it? Because they feel emboldened by their president, who is a fucking troublemaker. That is what we're dealing with. Okay, hold on. Thank you, April. I see it, April. But I'm ranting, April. I love you and I appreciate you. Let's see. April says we've got some breaking news here. Let me get out of this. Oh, you know what the problem is? I'm on Blue Sky. I'm like, April didn't send me anything. All right, hold on. What do we got? Something big, probably. Oh, okay. All right. We'll watch this. I haven't seen this. We've got more new video. Thank you, April. This comes to us from B&O News. This is new video, at least to my eyes and maybe to yours as well. Let's watch this. New video from B&O News. This promises a different angle, another angle of everything that went down. Here we go. Let's watch. Holy shit, there's a dog involved. I did not know there was a dog involved. Oh my God. Is the dog okay? Did he kill the dog? Oh my God. Look at the dog in the window. Holy shit. Thank you, April. First time I'm hearing about there being a dog in. Look at that guy. Look at him. His mama's about to get shot in the face 3 times. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Okay, so she's talking to the cops out the window. Is this body cam from the shooter? Is the shooter wearing body cam? All right, guys, you know what? I haven't seen this video, so I don't know how this ends. So I just want to warn you that I am preparing myself to see something absolutely horrifying at very close range. Okay? All right. Okay, she looks kind of dopey, you know. She looks kind of like, doesn't look aggressive. She doesn't look like she's rage filled. She doesn't look like she is out of her mind. She looks like she's. Hold on, let's see. She's totally calm. She's totally calm. Wow. Okay, so this obviously isn't the cop who shoots her. Let's keep watching.
That's okay, we don't change our plates every morning, just so you know. It'll be the same plate when you come.
All right, so I think this is the wife.
Come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen, former. You want to come at us? I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out car. Get out of the fucking car. Get out of the car.
Oh! Fucking bitch. Shot her in the face 3 times. Fucking bitch. Interesting. One more time. I want to watch this whole thing.
Change our plates every morning, just so you know. It'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen, former.
Okay, hold on. All right, right now the wheels are turned one way.
You want to come at us? I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Okay, get out of the car, get out of the car.
Get out of the fucking car.
She's like trying to get back in the car, it looks like. It's locked. She's pulling away, and she is actively turning the wheel away from the police officers. Watch her. She is turning away, not into. She is turning away and not into. Stop it, President and Vice President. Stop it. Oh. Fucking bitch. Wow. All right, that is... I don't know why I'm doing applause for that. That is wild. That is heavy. Yikes, folks. Thank you, April. Appreciate that. I wish I could do. I wish I could cover that, having seen it like a couple of hours ago, so that I could have my thoughts. Right now, I'm more convinced than ever that, we saw a state-sanctioned murder of an American citizen for simply speaking truth to power, for simply doing what makes America better than all these other countries. Don't know why I do that. That's a habit. Shouldn't be applause for that. All right, let's keep going. Let's see. Moving on. Did you see the video? I don't want to even show you this video, but did you see the video of the cops and more Homeland Security police? These were not Minneapolis police. I saw some people classifying them as Minneapolis police. They are not. They were Homeland Security cops. Did you see them walking around the vigil that was set up for Renee Good in Minneapolis? They were walking around kicking over the candles, and then they get confronted by people, and the cop says, "I didn't give a fuck about her." Yeah, these are the professionals. These are, yeah, we got a problem. We got a real problem. Although, as I pointed out yesterday, this particular situation will not boil into a huge problem. I do not believe. We saw some protests, very peaceful protests. They were the kind where people stand around holding candles and singing songs, and then they all disperse and go home peacefully. We're not going to see anything. We're not going to see Burger Kings and Dunkin' Donuts burned down simply because she was a white middle-aged lesbian. And that does not draw that kind of grassroots sort of, for middle-aged white lesbians won't even be united in supporting her. That's not a unified group. White women in general are not a unified group. Wow. Yeah. Okay. CNN is now showing this video as well that we just showed. Apparently, April, right on it. You got it. Very good. Thank you. Tucker Carlson had some interesting things to say this morning in his newsletter for paid subscribers. No, he didn't put this on video and make it go viral. But if you pay Tucker Carlson a ridiculous amount of money to get a little email from him every day, this is what you would have read from Tucker Carlson concerning the Minneapolis shooting. It says here, Tucker Carlson argued reactions from conservatives to the ICE shooting of a 37-year-old mother in Minneapolis are showing just how desensitized they have become. Tucker Carlson, conservative, Mr. Conservative out here saying, just the way conservatives have reacted to this just shows how desensitized they've become. Ooh, bit of a criticism. Here's what he says. Tucker goes on to say in his newsletter, how come so few conservatives are viewing this story through a human lens? Really, Tucker? Really? How come? How come people are so fucking awful now? Gee, I don't know, Tucker. Gee, I don't know. Could it be 20 years of you and people like you just fucking shitting in the well? I don't know. We had at least an inclination or an instinct to lean towards decency, and then you, Tucker, and all your friends took a big fucking dump in the decency well, and now here you are in 2026 overlooking the empire you've built and wondered, hey, how did people turn into such dickheads? Oh, fuck you, Tucker Carlson. He goes on to say, the 37-year-old was an American citizen. She was the mother of a kindergarten-aged child. Do I agree with her views on immigration? Probably not, but that shouldn't matter. Her death is an American tragedy, regardless of... Hold on, wait a second. I got to scroll down. Her death is an American tragedy, regardless of her partisan affiliations, ideological beliefs, or who pulled the trigger. A woman was shot in the face. America's leaders must stop normalizing this kind of bloodshed, Tucker Carlson said. Look at that. Tucker Carlson, he's like, hey, that was mean. Which, you know, if he was still on Fox News and it was 10 years ago, he'd be like, this is what happens when you're a blue-haired lesbian. You know, he would have been even taking that whole thing. But look at Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson looking for new subscribers. That's what he's doing. He's looking for new subscribers. He knows that he has tapped out the crazies. Hold on, I got to do something. Fudge. All right, we'll do it like this. This is a problem that I know that's occurring with AM Talk Radio. They've maxed out the crazies. There are no new listeners coming to AM Talk Radio. Every fucking weirdo who would be entertained by that shit has been reached, and they're there, and they're not growing, and they're having problems with businesses because businesses are the same way. There are some businesses run by people who resent the presence of things like WBAP or KLIF or WLS in Chicago. There are businesses that will never fucking advertise on that shit because they see it for the toxic propaganda that it is. So these radio stations have all pretty much maxed out on all of the money that they're going to be able to get from advertisers and all the listeners. Now, maybe there's a new band of Charlie Kirk high school graduates coming out that they can entice, but they're not really trying to do that because it's a bunch of old men talking about old men issues. So Tucker is kind of having the same thing now. Tucker is doing an independent deal where he's out there. He's making 100% of his profits. He's looking for new subscribers at all time. He knows that Fox News audience that elevated him to this position of prominence within the conservative world, he knows that that's tapped out. So now Tucker's got to do some shit that is going to get new subscribers. Maybe somebody like me who does a stream starts talking about, hey, look at Tucker. And a couple of you go and subscribe. That's what he's banking on. That's all this is. Tucker is going to start saying things that appeal to people other than the rank and file weirdos that he has been preaching to for decades. He is doing this simply to try and expand. He has no authenticity. He has no principles. He used to be on MSNBC. He was a liberal. But there you have it. That's the latest from Tucker. He's working you again. He's working you again. And this time, he thinks that the blue-haired lesbian lady was murdered. Okay, good. I'm glad that in this particular case, we agree. But I don't believe you really believe that. I don't believe. Here's what I believe, Tucker. You don't give a fuck. Tucker don't give a fuck. He's just looking at what story, what angle can he take that will create the most buzz so that he can continue being Tucker Carlson. That's what he's about. He's a machine. He's a machine. He's a media machine. All right, now we're going to talk about Iran. All right, we're going to get into Iran. There's some huge things going on. And last night, do you know what I watched last night? I watched for like an hour. Ayatollah Khomeini. I think that's his name. Isn't it weird that like they've had two? First of all, Ayatollah is a title. It's like President so-and-so, right? the last name, like when I was little, the first Ayatollah, the guy who was like, before bin Laden, we had the Ayatollah Khomeini. The Ayatollah Khomeini, he was a bad guy. I could still, oh my God, my little Gen X childhood, his face is burned into my head. Ayatollah Khomeini, right? Then he died, and the new guy that came in, that guy's name was Ayatollah Khomeini. Yeah. It'd be like if we went from President Biden to President Budden, and that would have been weird. Anyway, so the new Ayatollah, who isn't new at all, he's probably been there for 20 years or something, but the Ayatollah Khomeini, he did a live stream yesterday. Yeah, from his kitchen. His wife was cooking in the background. No, he was he had the big hat on, and he had the robes, and, it looked like he was in some kind of Aladdin's playroom. He gave a speech. It was translated, and that dude's on his way out. That dude, I can tell you, in the speech that he gave last night, he was laying the groundwork for him to jump on a Learjet and head to the Kremlin, because this dude is on his way out. It shocked me. I've never heard. I mean, these guys, first of all, we never hear from him. We hear from the president of Iran, which is a totally different guy, and that's the guy that back in the day it was Bani Sadr. Then it was who's the guy that we just got rid of? He was a bad one. We didn't like him. They got a new president there. Doesn't matter. He's the supreme leader, the Ayatollah. The Ayatollah, no matter what the people elect in some form of bullshit democracy that they pretend they have there, when they elect these people, I'm the president. That's all bullshit. If the president says something the Ayatollah doesn't like, it's over. The Ayatollah is the top guy. For a couple of weeks now, people have been taking the streets all over Iran. They are protesting. Now, I know what you're saying. Doesn't this happen every couple of years in Iran? It does. It happens every couple of years. The famous Neda protest. Remember that? The little girl that got shot. She wasn't even a little girl. Wasn't she like a teenager or something? I don't know, whatever. Young woman. She was a young woman. She got shot, and that spurred on even more weeks of protests in Iran. What has traditionally happened is that the Iranian military at some point has enough, and then they just, they kill some people, and everybody goes home. And then they wait 5 years more, and then they have another uprising in 5 years. Well, this uprising is a little bit different, as it's driven by 2 years of incredible economic depression. They are in real serious fight. The average person in Iran is broke as fuck, right? And this is due in part to a lot of things that they see as the fault of the government. They see that sanctions, international sanctions, certain things that they've done that haven't allowed for the country to actually grow or get outside help. Whether it's they don't need help, like it's not they don't need help. They're an oil-rich nation, but because of all of the problems caused by the political and the political wing of Iran mixing with the radical Islamic overlordship of Iran, the people are done with it. They've been done with it for a long time. Don't forget, Iran was a normal country. If you're a 22-year-old, if you are a 22-year-old taking to the streets in Iran fighting for your freedom to try and get rid of this oppressive Islamic regime, your grandparents went to discotheques, okay? Iran is not like some ancient fucking radical Islamic country. Iran was basically a vassal state of America until the 1980s. So these people, there is some understanding of what they left behind. Now, these people who are taking the streets now, as I said, it's probably their grandparents who have told them stories about, Grandma, tell me about when you were allowed to drive a car, stuff like that. So it's not so disconnected that I think at some point these people will give up. I think there is going to be real change in Iran, and I think we're seeing it happen right now. And what I don't understand is why is the American media completely ignoring this story? Now, if you use alternative forms of media, as I've been suggesting you should, I've been telling you for years that I almost exclusively watch Sky News. As far as cable news goes, I can't trust any of these American news networks. Everything's either, you're a Republican and you're great, or you're a Democrat and you're great, or they're all, partisan. Not Sky News. I like Sky News because if they are partisan, I'm not picking up on it because I don't have a dog in the British Parliament race. So I'm not really, But what I do appreciate about watching news coverage from them is that you get a non-American perspective on global affairs. Sky News is doing a pretty good job of covering the Iran situation. Now, last night, after 2 weeks of increasingly more violent and destructive protests throughout Iran. This isn't just happening in Tehran, it's happening all over. Last night, the Ayatollah Khomeini cut off the internet in the entire country. So all of the live streams that people were watching on YouTube, all of the TikToks that were going around, the Twitter, the stuff that was pretty much the only way America was getting any information on this, because again, Fox News, CNN, and all of them, they're more interested in dividing us with more talk about who's to blame for shooting the woman in Minnesota than actually covering real global events. This is the fucking Berlin Wall. This is potentially that level of change occurring right now. And I'm telling you, CNN, Fox News, and MS Now cannot be bothered. They can't be. Trump said something stupid to the New York Times, so we got to do that for 40 minutes instead of showing the people what is happening. This is real encouraging for God-loving, all-American, freedom-tasting Westerners. We're seeing real change. We're seeing something happen in Iran that for most of us we thought couldn't happen without American boots on the ground. We are seeing an organic overthrow of a totalitarian regime. This is when I always give my big speech about how we made all of our kids stupid and all of our old people die in hospitals with medical bankruptcy bills. We stopped we didn't care about educating our kids, and we didn't care about healthcare. What we cared about was the defense, because we believed that Americanism was the idea that could make peace on earth, right? That was the idea. I don't know that I agreed with it, but we did it 50 years ago, and now we have this incredible defense, and we're supposed to be encouraging Americanism around the world. In the case of Iran, we've always been clutching our pearls, worried that, oh my God, are we going to have to go into Iran and end this? Well, no. Look at what's happening. And let's see what's happening. There is some incredible video. Some great video was coming out last night. It was coming out furious, and that's probably why the Ayatollah decided to pull the plug on the internet. Here we go. Let's watch this. This is... what is this one? These are just streets, just random stuff. Oh yeah, this is the Iranian version of the burning of the Reichstag. Yeah, this is an Iranian parliament building in Tehran. This mob of freedom fighters have decided to torch it. So here we go. Boy, it's like they just won the Super Bowl in Tehran, huh? Pretty incredible. But that's not all. We've got a whole bunch more here. Let's watch this. These are multiple videos that were taken from across Iran last night. Let's see if... What the fuck? Here we go. All right, let's see if we can check in on these. Boom, 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 boom. Here we go. All right. Yeah, this one we're going to have to make big, right? That's what she said. Here we go. I mean, think about it. Every single one of these people know that they could spend 6 months in a fucking cellar being tortured just for being involved here. And yet the streets are filled with people who are like, yeah, you can't put us all in jail. That's an attitude that we could use a little bit more of here in the United States, I think. Yeah, you can't put us all in jail. Let's go. Let's just fucking take it back. Wonderful. Let's see what the next one is. What is this? Street level. Scenes from across Iran at this hour, with government now attempting to block the internet with aims of slowing the rapidly growing protests. Just so you know, these are not all in the same area of Tehran. These are all videos from spread across Iran. Every major city is going through this. And as I said, the Ayatollah Khomeini has already indicated, and there are sources inside Iran that are now leaking to Western media, that he has a full-fledged plan to get the fuck out and go to Russia, because the Russians have said, yeah, you can come here. Trump was asked about that. Yesterday. He did a sit-down with Hannity. He also participated in a New York Times interview that... Wow, we're going to waste our time on that. But he sat down with Hannity, And, well, actually, we're going to play that in a minute. So I'll tell you about the Hannity thing. All right. What is this? Announced IP address. I don't know what that is. Okay, so we'll get rid of that. What other videos do we have coming out of Iran? Street level. Yeah, let's do the Trump video. Okay, so Trump sat down with Sean Hannity, and I want to play this. And this once again, you know me, I hate this guy. I think this guy is a bad guy. Like, everything about him is bad. This guy, you don't lend him money. You don't want to hang out with him. Just everything about him is obviously bad, right? Okay. But to that extent, even a blind squirrel, as I like to say, gets a nut every now and again. And listen to what he says here. And President Trump, got to be honest, I do not disagree with what he says to Sean Hannity here concerning Iran.
Are you following the protesting that is taking place all over the country of Iran?
Yeah, I'm following very closely.
And have you read that the Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has a plan B to go to Russia?
Or someplace, yeah. He's looking to go someplace.
Do you believe that Iran, you think the country is on the verge of collapsing?
Well, it could be. I mean, what they've done is
I thought it was interesting the way President Trump said, yeah, or somewhere. He's looking to go somewhere. That suggests to me that maybe the Ayatollah has reached out to the United States. Like, is Trump considering hosting the Ayatollah? He's a good guy. You know, is it going to be that? Is the Ayatollah going to be put in exile at Mar-a-Lago? And will we have Trump standing, on an airplane doing a press gaggle to reporters going, I think you'd be surprised. He's a really sweet guy. I mean, is that what I wouldn't put it past them. It's just the way he said that, the way Hannity said, I hear he's going to Russia. And Trump goes, or somewhere. Like, Trump thinks it would be a feather in his cap to give exile to the Ayatollah Khomeini.
So in the past, they've started shooting the hell out of people, and all of a sudden people without any weapons whatsoever are standing there and you have machine guns gunning them down, or they take them to prisons and then hang them and kill them. So they played rough, and I said, if they do that, we're going to hit them very hard. Well, we're going to hit them hard. We're ready to do it. If they do that, we're going to hit them hard. And so far, for the most part, there's been some of it, but for the most part, they haven't. There have been people killed. Some of them, the crowds are so big that some of them have had really, were stomped on.
All right. Let me tell you what's going on here. Now, first of all, like I said, a blind squirrel gets a nut every once in a while. I agree with him here. I am glad to hear a president of the United States say, if these people who are trying to attain freedom, who are trying to overthrow an oppressive totalitarian government, if these people, if they want freedom and they are somehow penalized by this regime through violence, gunfire, body count, I, the president of the United States with the biggest military who has stupid kids because no school and people dying because of no health care, but we've got all of this stuff and we believe that freedom is the most important message for the world. I, the president of the United States, pledge that I will step in and I will defend these people. It is a hero moment. It is an absolute, it's the kind of thing that if he does, I'll be like, good on him. Good on him. But he ain't going to do it. He ain't going to do it. He's going to say that he's going to do it because in this moment, it's a hero moment thing. It's they just try it. They just try. Let's see him try it, Sean. They try it and we're going to get him. We're going to get him. Now, and this is where he just parsed it. This is where he just, left himself an out so he doesn't have to respond. He just said, and I'll play it again for you, but he just said, well, they've already been people dead, but they were trampled. It was because of the crowds. It had nothing to do with the military, so I'm not required to back up what I just said. It's that kind of an out. Listen to that again.
It was so far, for the most part, there's been some of it. But for the most part, they haven't. There have been people killed. Some of them, the crowds are so big that some of them have had really, were stomped on.
It's not his problem. These people weren't killed standing up to oppression. These people, and advocating for an American-style Western life. No, these people were killed because they just poor spatial management. Is why the United States can't commit military forces to defend these people simply because they didn't know they shouldn't crowd that many people into a small space.
Literally, it was terrible. The crowds are just.
Anyway, there you go. That's his hero moment. He went on Hannity. He acted like a big man. He said all the things that I think a president should be saying. Now, I just wish he had that same attitude towards the people in the Ukraine, but he doesn't seem to, or at least he hasn't. It's the exact same thing. It is the exact same thing. It's the exact same thing. Oh, Ukraine doesn't have oil. That's right. And Ukraine comes with, getting Russia really mad. That's right. Those are the differences. So it's not really about encouraging freedom in the seeking of democracy around the globe. No, it's not about that. It's really about, well, how easy is it to help them get democracy? Because if it's difficult to help them get democracy, like Taiwan and shit like that, then we're just going to take a back seat. Do they have oil? Is oil? Because if you've got oil, you want democracy. Venezuela, Iran. All right, so I'm being contacted by a bunch of people. Apparently, yes, I see it, Matty. Pugs, check your text. I just sent you the ICE officer body cam footage. Well, you guys send it to my Twitter. I can't do anything with it on my phone. My phone is occupied at the moment. I don't mean, here's Maddie working her ass off for this show, and I'm like being short with her. What a dick. Hold on, I'll find it. If it's out there, body cam. So we got new video now that we're going to see. Hold on. Hey, what happened? Never mind. I don't want to be distracted. Jesus. Okay, I don't see anything. New body cam video. Where can I find it? Let's see body cam. Let's just put body cam and see what comes up. Here we go. Body cam. Let me see the latest. Give me something. This isn't body cam footage. It's from the guy's phone. Okay. Don't know what that is. All right. I see something that says body cam totally exonerates ICE. Then I see another thing is watch the body cam, watch the body. Where is the fucking body cam? All right, everybody's commenting on the body cam. Nobody is. Isn't this the same thing we just saw? Hold on. Okay. Maddie, is it the same thing we just saw? Because all of this new so-called body cam is what we just saw from April. Let's see. New cell phone video emerges in fatal ICE shooting of Minneapolis activist. All right. Okay, this is not, it's being called body cam. It's not a body cam video. It's the cop was holding a phone. The cop, well, I guess, we're parsing words, right? But, all right, hold on. Yeah, Maddie, that's okay. We already got it. But thank you, Maddie. I love the diligence, and I love the fact that you are always looking. But yeah, April beat you. April got that to us about 20 minutes ago, but thank you. And it's technically not body cam. It's the cop holding a phone, but it is from one of the cops' perspective. So, okay. Iran, we got into Iran. We showed Trump's hero moment. All right. We won't talk about this. There's a story going on here in Chicago that I'm kind of getting obsessed with because I don't know. I just like these kinds of things. I like to track something that I know is going to make a really good Dateline NBC episode in the future. There's a story in Chicago concerning a public school teacher named Linda Brown who went missing she was last seen Saturday morning at like 3 a.m. walking across a pedestrian bridge on 35th Street here in Chicago. It's a missing woman. It's an interesting story. I don't want to get into it because it'll take way too much time. And we've got other things that we need to talk about today. But rest assured that if this story doesn't resolve itself on Monday, I will go deep on the Linda Brown missing Chicago teacher story. People are online trying to say the husband did it. And I'm like, she was out walking around at 3 a.m. All right. We're also probably not going to do the Mean Girl Mom group. I'm sorry. Sorry, Adam. We've just got too much stuff to do and other things that I want to talk about. Like this. Let's get into the Golden Globes, okay? Let's do some entertainment talk. The Golden Globes are Sunday. I like the Golden Globes. The Globin Globins, as I like to call them, they are my favorite of the award shows. Why? Well, there are a couple of reasons why they're my favorite. First and foremost, it has TV and movies. I like TV and movies equally. Actually, no, I will tell you right now, I think I like TV much better than I like movies. It used to be movies were the important one. Well, he's a TV star. He's not a movie star. Like, there was a difference. A movie star was something totally different than a TV star. TV stars wanted to be movie stars. Movie stars didn't want to be TV stars because that meant they were in decline. That's how it used to be. But now movies are garbage and TV is so much better. So I do appreciate that I get kind of a combination Oscars and Emmys with the Golden Globes. Another thing about the Golden Globes is it's not Americans. I like the outs. Again, a guy who watches Sky News because I appreciate the way other people think of us. I want to know what they think of us, not just be spoon-fed propaganda from one side or the other here on this side of the pond. I like to see what they think of us. And the Hollywood Foreign Press is who puts on the Golden Globes every year. They honor TV and movies. Now, the real reason why this is the best of all the award shows is because everybody's drunk. Everybody's drunk. This is one where you get good drunk speeches. This is the one where it's a dinner. Like the Oscars, the Emmys, the Grammys, whatever it is that you're watching, those are not dinners. Those are theater seats, and people are sitting in theater seats like they're in a movie. The Golden Globes are a big dinner that starts like 3 hours before the telecast, and everybody's drinking, and there's an open bar, and it's a little bit more fun, and so that's why I like it. All right, let's get into the nominations. It's Sunday night, the Golden Globe Awards. It's being hosted by Nikki Glaser, which, it's kind of like her gig now. This is what she does, which is fine. She's a middling stand-up comic who has been elevated to top-tier status because she's attractive. Pretty people get all the breaks. She's a pretty So we saw this with Whitney Cummings. We see the pretty. Meanwhile, you got a bunch of like female troll comics out there who are gut-bustingly funny who can't get a break because they don't look like Whitney Cummings. Oh, fuck you. What are you talking about? You got Roseanne. Yeah, well, Roseanne couldn't be stopped because as far as a stand-up comic goes, there were very few people better than Roseanne Barr ever. Yeah, I admit that. I think Roseanne Barr is insane. I think she's always been insane. But when she was younger, I think her insanity manifested itself in some of the finest stand-up comedy this world has ever known. All right, let's see here. What are we looking at? Are we sharing? Yeah, I don't know why I'm being weird. All right, here we go. The first category that we're going to talk about, and we're not going to do all the categories because there are a lot of stupid categories, but we're going to do Best Motion Picture Drama. All right, first category. Here's what we're looking at. We're looking at Frankenstein. Didn't see it. Don't care. I might have seen it, but my mom saw it first, and then she said this to me. I said, how did you like Frankenstein? And she said, it's stupid. I go, why is it stupid? And she said, since when does he have a brother? And I'm like, all right, that's all I need to hear. Since when does he have a brother? I don't even know what that's about, but it seemed like it was a thing that was introduced in this version of Frankenstein that just threw my mom out of it. So if she's been thrown, I'm going to be thrown. Frankenstein, no thank you. Nominated for Best Motion Picture Drama. Also nominated is Hamnet. Hamnet. Not Hamlet, the great Shakespearean play. Hamnet. Apparently this is about the making of Hamlet. I guess like did William Shakespeare have a son named Hamnet? And whatever. If that just sounds like the worst. The worst. And I love Shakespeare. And I have no interest in this. Oh my God. All right. Frankenstein, not seeing it. And Hamnet, no interest in seeing it. Those are our first two Best Motion Picture Drama categories for the Golden Globes. Here's another one. It Was Just an Accident. Never heard of it. No idea. No clue. Never heard of it. The next movie nominated for Best Motion Picture Drama at the Golden Globes is Sentimental Value. Nah, never heard of it. Don't know what that is. If it's not getting some kind of platforming on Netflix or Prime or Hulu, I don't know what the fuck this is. What did this play for 2 weeks at an art house in Greenwich Village? This ain't a real movie. Never heard of Sentimental Value. All right, moving on. Here's one we all know. Here's the popcorn movie. They always like to put one popcorn movie into the list of these egghead pretentious films they like to honor. Sinners. Ryan Coogler's Sinners. That movie sucked. I'm sorry. I'm not on the bandwagon that's like, it's the greatest thing ever. It's just a stupid fucking monster movie. It's about civil rights. No, it's about vampires. It is not some great statement on civil rights. It's a dumb popcorn teen ticket buying audience vampire movie. You're trying to couch it with some greater thing. It means and represents. Oh, shut up. Wasn't even that good of a movie. I'm watching, I'm like, this just feels like a whole bunch of other movies that I've seen that is just like this. All right, moving on. The last movie nominated here in the Best Motion Picture Drama, The Secret Agent. Never heard of it. I got no idea, but I got to pick a winner, so I'm going to go with Hamnet. Hamnet is going to win for Best Motion Picture Drama. Why? Because Shakespeare. They're all going to want to be like, oh, well, we must honor the person who was Shakespeare. We all love Shakespeare. All right, so there you go. The next category we'll do here is Best Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy. All right, let me stretch out here, because this is there's another reason why I like the Golden Globes. It's like the Oscars. It's like, it's Best Picture. And I'm like, but there's a bunch of different kinds of categories of picture. You make the distinction for like documentary, like you make a distinction between like the best drama film and the best documentary. Why, Oscars, wouldn't you make a distinction between a really great box office champ, a really interesting love story, a really good anime? They don't do it. They just have one category, Best Picture, and then they cram a whole bunch of foreign films and shit we don't want to see starring well, I'm going to say Emma Stone, but who is the one that I was going to do? There was this like British chick that was in all kinds of movies like years ago. And I'm like, oh, she's in it. I won't be seeing it, which was ironic because Emma Thompson. Yeah. Remember Emma Thompson? She was like in every boring movie ever made. And then it turns out she's one of the stars of Love Actually. And I'm like, I've been wrong about Emma Thompson this whole time. This is a good category. Best Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy. This is a good category. My God, I'm just looking at I don't know what to do here. Number one, nominated for Best Motion Picture, Musical, Comedy is it third or fourth? I don't know. It's like I think it's top 3 favorite movie of the year. Blue Moon. Blue Moon is such a good film. It's just don't look for car chases. Don't look for gratuitous titty shots. Don't look for like gun battles that are real dramatic. This is just a really interesting story that is so well acted by people portraying characters that are endlessly fascinating. And there's some history to it. Blue Moon is the story of Lawrence Hart, who was songwriting partners with Richard Rodgers. It was Rodgers and Hart. They wrote a whole bunch of hit songs in the 1930s and 40s. Blue Moon, the most famous, but there are a whole bunch of other huge ones. They're like, oh, they did that one too? So Blue Moon is the name of the movie. It concerns Ethan Hawke. He stars as Lawrence Hart. The movie takes place in a bar next to a theater where Lawrence Hart's former partner, Richard Rodgers, is debuting his new theater production with his new partner, Oscar Hammerstein. So we all know Rodgers and Hammerstein. Before Rodgers and Hammerstein, there was Rodgers and Hart. So this movie, Blue Moon, is about the former partner watching as his partner, his ex-partner, and his new partner, you know what I'm saying? It's one guy who was kicked out of the group watching the new group go on to create Oklahoma on the day of Oklahoma's debut. Ethan Hawke plays a guy. He's a bit of an alcoholic. He's a wonderful guy. Everybody seems to like him, but he's a tragic figure in that he's trying to put on a brave face and support his old partner and be positive and all that. But he just watched Oklahoma and he knows it's the best thing he's ever done, and he's not handling it well. Blue Moon is such a fun movie, man. Such a fun movie. And Ethan Hawke is so good. Also nominated here in Best Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy, we've got Begonia. Begonia is the Jesse Plemons and Emma Stone film. The premise of this is that Jesse Plemons and his half-wit cousin, legitimately plays retarded, his half-wit cousin and Jesse Plemons are a couple of QAnon weirdos who spend all day online, and they have determined that Emma Stone, who plays an Elon Musk type character, just imagine that, she's a female, but she is that type of character in the universe of this film. She is an inventor and a multi-billionaire and one of the most powerful and influential people on the planet and all that kind of stuff. So Jesse Plemons and his half-wit cousin, they figure out that Emma Stone is an alien from another planet. So they decide to kidnap her, and they demand that she take them to her mothership where he can have a one-on-one conversation with the Emperor of the Universe. That's what Begonia is about. It's incredible. It's really good. It's a great story. Won't ruin anything for you, but some crazy shit happens. Begonia. I love that movie. Again, with Blue Moon, Begonia and Blue Moon are like in my top 3 best movies of the year. Now comes the film that I've got to see. I have what I believe is the best film of the year already in my mind. I think I've seen it. I've seen it twice now. But this next nominee is something that I think I'm going to have to see because a lot of people are like, it's amazing. And that is Timothée Chalamet and Marty Supreme. Marty Supreme. What is he, a badminton player or something? It's like look, it doesn't read like something that is going to be interesting, but everybody is saying it's such an incredible movie. So Marty Supreme, I haven't seen it, but maybe I'll see it tonight. Maybe I'll see Marty Supreme tonight. I don't know if it's available anywhere, but there we go. Best Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy. Also, No Other Choice. I've never heard of No Other Choice, so we're going to move on. Also nominated for Best Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy, Nouvelle Vague. Never heard of it. But again, it's the Hollywood Foreign Press, so they're going to shoehorn some French films in here. Never heard of Nouvelle Vague. There we go. Here we go. Here's the last one. Nominated for Best Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy, One Battle After Another. It's the best movie of the year. It's my number 1 film of the year. I've seen it twice. It's so much fun. It's so crazy. It's so bizarre. The performances from Sean Penn, from Leonardo DiCaprio, Benicio del Toro. It is such a fun, crazy, wild ride of a movie. It's a Paul Thomas Anderson movie. If you're familiar with Paul Thomas Anderson, that should give you some sort of an idea of what you're in for. It's a roller coaster. But Boogie Nights. You ever seen Boogie Nights? That's Paul Thomas Anderson. That's the kind of movie that he makes. That's the kind of storytelling that he makes. And I would say that One Battle After Another fits very well into the, I think now 11 films that Paul Thomas Anderson has made. Pugs, how do you know he's made 11 films? Because I fucking love Paul Thomas Anderson. He is, since the death of Stanley Kubrick, he is easily, I think now, my number 1, especially after this movie. So my pick to click here, Best Motion Picture of the Year, Musical or Comedy. I think it's the Best Motion Picture of the Year overall. One Battle After Another. See it. You'll be endlessly entertained. It's crazy. Best Motion Picture Animated. We don't give a shit about that. Best Motion Picture Non-English Language. We also don't give a shit about that. Best Performance by a Female in a Motion Picture Drama. Why they make it different? Why isn't it just actor? Remember when the Academy Awards changed that? It used to be they used to have actor and actress categories in the Academy Award, but now it's just actor. Now they've changed that. But they also at the Academy Awards they used to say the winner is. Yeah, they can't say winner is anymore because that's too mean. What about the people who didn't win? Oh, you're calling them? Oh, shut the fuck up. See, this is Hollywood for you. So now the Oscars say, and the Oscar goes to See, it's that kind of shit that just incrementally irritates the fuck out of otherwise normal Americans, but we put up with it. Best performance by a female actor in a motion picture drama. We've got Ava Victor for a film called Sorry Baby. I have never heard of Sorry Baby. However, Ava Victor, this is obviously her first nominee. I bet you don't even know who Ava Victor is. She is a young actress. She's been popping up in things for years now, probably about 5 years, 6 years, I think is when I first noticed her. She sizzles in everything that she does. Everything. She used to do commercials. She popped up in commercials and I'm like, holy shit, that's Ava Victor. I have been saying that Ava Victor is going to be a movie star now since the first time I saw her. And where was the first time I saw her? Did you ever watch the old Showtime series Billions? Billions. It was the red-haired guy. The red-haired guy. He played Bobby Axelrod. He was a billionaire. Ava Victor played an analyst that worked for him named Ryan. It was Ryan. She was Ryan. She was tall. She was incredibly brilliant. She was almost like autistically robotic, but she was great. Now, not to be confused with the non-binary chick that was or dude or whatever, that was a part of the Billions cast. No, Ryan is Ava Victor. She was kind of a tall brunette, kind of attractive, but not sexual at all. Anyway, Ava Victor is an incredible actress, so it's nice to see her getting nominated. Again, she played Ryan on Billions. You may remember her for that. So good luck to her. Jennifer Lawrence is nominated by Best Performance by a Female in a Motion Picture Drama for a film called Die My Love. No idea. Jessie Buckley is nominated for Hamnet. Jessie Buckley. She's another one. You want to talk about X Factors. She ain't real famous yet, but everything that Jessie Buckley has been in, I've gone, okay now. Okay, who's this actress? Oh my God. So Jessie Buckley for Hamnet. Very, very good to see her getting recognized. Julia Roberts for something called After the Hunt. All right. Well, you got to give Julia Roberts something because you need like true bona fide icons of modern Hollywood to show up. Is that what's going on here? You got to make sure that at least there's a couple George Clooney, Julia Roberts, Brad Pitts in the audience. It can't all be Jessie Buckley's and Ava Victor's. I get it. So we're nominating Julia Roberts. Also nominated somebody by the name of Rant. It's a French movie. Sentimental. I don't know who this person is. I can't pronounce the name. All right, I'm going to try. As a middle-aged white man, I'm going to try and pronounce Renata Rensby. We're going with Renata Rensby. That's probably totally incorrect. She is nominated for Best Performance by a Female in a Motion Picture for a film called Sentimental Value. Again, never heard of it. Finally, Tessa Thompson for Hedda. Don't know what that is. Don't know what that is. All right, so what am I going to do here? Who's going to win this award? Best Performance by a Female Actress. Haven't seen any of these movies. Have absolutely Jessie Buckley. I'm going Jessie Buckley. She's just so good in everything. I imagine at some point the industry is going to have to start taking note of how good Jessie Buckley is. Golden Globe Award winner. So that would be my pick. Jessie Buckley wins Best Performance by a Female in a Drama Role for Hamnet. Again, the Golden Globes are Saturday night, hosted by Nikki Glaser. All right, Best Performance by a Male Actor in a Motion Picture Drama. We've got Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson for The Smashing Machine. I tried to watch Smashing Machine. I got like 45 minutes into it, and the documentary, The Smashing Machine. This movie is based on a documentary. The documentary, The Smashing Machine, is one of the greatest documentaries I've ever seen. So I had high hopes for this. Problem is that Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, in trying to pull off Mark Kerr. Mark Kerr is who he's playing. He's an old MMA fighter, Mark Kerr. The prosthetics that were used, it's just it didn't work. The Rock seemed in certain scenes like The Rock was really likable, and I'm watching The Smashing Machine and I'm like, look at The Rock, look at what he's doing. And then the next scene, it's like, oh, fuck, he screwed it up again. What is going on here? So please, The Smashing Machine, I don't know, maybe I'll see the second half of it at some point, but 45 minutes and I was like, nope, The Rock, his chin implant is just way too distracting for me. Dwayne Johnson nominated for Best Performance by a Male Actor in a Motion Picture Drama for The Smashing Machine. Jeremy Allen White for Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere. I told you, I just gave you the review of Deliver Me From Nowhere. As a Springsteen fan, I absolutely love the film, but I think that on its own merits, just as a film and as a story about a guy, I think it's great. I think it's really good. I think if you look at it that way, it's a little film. But if you look at it from, this is the Springsteen bio, like you might expect more. No, it's a great little character study about a period of time in Bruce Springsteen's life when he had Born in the USA. He had that album in him, but he also had an album called Nebraska in him. And it was about him sort of balancing the demands of the commercial, music industry with his perception of himself as an artist, like wanting to put out Nebraska because it was such an important piece of art, while also knowing that he's got an album here with 10 obvious #1 hits. It's a really interesting film. If you're a Springsteen fan, maybe even if you're not, but it is interesting, and I loved it. And after being completely distracted by Jeremy Allen White, I said, Carmy from The Bear, Lip from Shameless. I was like, he can't play Springsteen. He can't play Springsteen. He pulled it off. He did a really good job. So it's nice to see him being nominated here. Jeremy Allen White as Bruce Springsteen in Deliver Me From Nowhere. Joel Edgerton is nominated for Best Performance by a Male Actor in a Drama Film. Joel Edgerton for a film called Train Dreams. Michael B. Jordan is nominated for Sinners. Oscar Isaac is nominated for Frankenstein, and Wagner Moura for The Secret Agent. Wagner Moura is the dude from the first season of Narcos. Holy shit. Sorry, guys. All right, doesn't that suck? Doesn't that absolutely suck, man? I'm sorry. We're back. Sorry. It's this computer thing. It's done this. I've been able to keep it a secret because I've been able to catch it before it happens, but that's the third time that it's done this today. I may have to end the show. I'm sorry. All right, here we go. Let's keep going. Best performance by a female actor in a motion picture, this time musical or comedy. Amanda Seyfried for The Testament of Anne Lee. Never heard of it. Chase Infinity, not your real name. No way that's a real name. If it is your real name, I want to party with your mom because that is cool. Chase Infinity is nominated for One Battle After Another. She plays Leonardo DiCaprio's daughter. She was pretty good, but I didn't see enough to really give her an award. Cynthia. And I think that's how you need to say Cynthia Erivo, with a nice little burp coming out. Cynthia Erivo is nominated for Wicked for Good. Don't like her. Don't like Cynthia Erivo. I've never seen Wicked. I have seen a whole lot of interviews with Cynthia Erivo. So I don't even know the level of her talent. It might be great. She might be incredible. But here's what I know. She's one of the most irritating people to both look at and listen to that I have ever seen in my life. She looks like a monster from space. You can't say that. That's mean. No, it's not. It's true. She is obviously not looking at all like people, that I see every day. She has a shockingly different look, and it's by choice. She's got the super long, green amphibian-like fucking fingers with giant nails, and then she's got a fucking nose. She's scary as fuck looking. If I was 5 years old, Cynthia Erivo would haunt my nightmares. So no, I don't want her to win. She's a weirdo. She's just a weirdo. She's so fucking weird. Anyway, Emma Stone is nominated for Best Performance by a Female Actor in a Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy. She's nominated for Begonia. She's awesome. Kate Hudson for Song Sung Blue. Here's my problem with this movie. I was very excited to see this movie. Is her and Hugh Jackman, right? Hey, let's give Hugh Jackman another chance to sing and dance like the theater nerd that he is. Whatever, he's pretty good at it. So I thought this movie, Song Sung Blue, I thought it was a biography of Neil Diamond. I thought it was going to be a movie about Neil Diamond. It's not. It turns out it's a movie about Neil Diamond impersonators. And didn't we already see that? Wasn't that the subject of Saving, or the premise of Saving Silverman with Jack Black and, wait, was it Saving Silverman? What was that movie? There was already a movie about Neil Diamond impersonators. But whatever. Kate Hudson nominated for Song Sung Blue. And then, of course, Rose Byrne. Rose Byrne, one of my favorite actresses. It's good to see her get nominated. She is nominated for Female Actor in a Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy for a film called If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. She's getting incredible reviews. I'm a big fan of Rose Byrne, so whenever I see her name pop up, I read it. She's apparently great in this movie. I've never heard of this movie other than outside of, praise for Rose Byrne. But I'm going with Emma Stone for Begonia. Emma Stone will win Best Performance by a Female Actor in a Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy for her role in Begonia. Best Performance by a Male Actor in a Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy. Ethan Hawke, Blue Moon. George Clooney, Jay Kelly. George Clooney is playing himself, and he's not even convincing. Jesse Plemons for Begonia as the QAnon-obsessed guy who believes Emma Stone is an alien from outer space. Lee Byung-hun for No Other Choice. Leonardo DiCaprio for One Battle After Another, and Timothée Chalamet for Marty Supreme. I have not seen Marty Supreme, but everybody is bending over backwards to give Timothée Chalamet praise for his performance in this film. I want to see it. I've already told you that I think One Battle After Another is the best movie of the year, and one of the great shining lights of that film is Leonardo DiCaprio in the lead role. Jesse Plemons, I told you about how amazing Jesse Plemons was in Begonia. George Clooney for Jay Kelly. Now, I told you that I saw Jay Kelly, and it's just George Clooney playing George Clooney, and it's not that great. Brings us to Ethan Hawke. Ethan Hawke, who portrays Lawrence Hart of Rogers and Hart in the film Blue Moon. Ethan Hawke is a 6-foot-something handsome man of a certain age. He portrayed a 5-foot tall, balding, ugly little Jewish songwriter in this movie. They used camera tricks and prosthetics to make him look as small. Ethan Hawke deserves every award they give for acting this year for his role in the film Blue Moon. I say Ethan Hawke. Now, I haven't seen Timothée Chalamet and Marty Supreme. People are saying Marty Supreme is a really good movie and Timothée Chalamet is great. But based on all the others, no matter how good Leonardo DiCaprio was in One Battle After Another, no matter how good Jesse Plemons was in Begonia, Ethan Hawke in Blue Moon was better. That's my pick to click. All right, best performance by a female actor in a supporting role in any motion picture. Amy Madigan for Weapons. Weapons is a really good movie, but Amy Madigan getting an award nomination for her. She was in like one scene and nobody even knew it was Amy Madigan. She played the witch. The witch was seen like twice in the whole movie. I don't get this. Ariana Grande, Wicked for Good. Ariana Grande, I've told you about my hatred for, that Cynthia Erivo and how weird she is. Every time I've seen Cynthia Erivo being weird, it's always been with like Ariana Grande sitting on her lap. Ariana Grande's weird too. But with Ariana Grande, I find that I can just put it on mute. And, just looking at her is kind of not offensive. It's pretty good, actually, because she's an attractive young woman. Not even young anymore. She's like in her 30s. I guess that's young to me still. All right. How about Elle Fanning for Sentimental Value? Never heard of it. Moving on. Emily Blunt for The Smashing Machine. Oh, now this is interesting because I told you that I didn't love The Smashing Machine and I only got 45 minutes into it. With that said, Emily Blunt was really good. That is something that I'm glad I was reminded of this. Emily Blunt plays Dwayne Johnson's girlfriend, who in real life was Mark Kerr's girlfriend. So she's playing a real character from the 1990s, a girl who would be dating an MMA fighter in the 1990s. And if you know anything about Emily Blunt, if you know anything about her sophistication and her elegance and her proper British form and all of that good stuff, which she has in spades, when you see her playing this fucking California gym rat bimbo chick from the 90s, it's great. It's great. You ever seen Scarlett Johansson play that chick in, I think it was Don Juan DeMarco or something? Scarlett Johansson plays another very against type representation of a young woman from a certain era. Emily Blunt is really good in Smashing Machine. In fact, I wasn't even sure it was her. I'm like, is that Emily Blunt? My God, she looks like she's an aerobics instructor from 1993 who met this guy in the gym. Anyway, she's great. She's terrific in it. I just wish I could I'd love to see how her character ends up because I didn't get all the way to the end. Another nomination here for someone named Inga Labstadter Lelis. Yeah, that's a crazy name. That ain't a Hollywood name. She must come to this from, foreign film. For a movie called Sentimental Value. Never heard of it again. We keep mentioning it. And then Teyana Taylor for One Battle After Another. She was pretty good. Teyana Taylor in One Battle After Another is pretty good. But you know what? I'm going to go with Emily Blunt. Emily Blunt for playing like a trashy bimbo kind of chick from the 90s. She was good. Emily Blunt is something else. Emily Blunt is like a princess. And then to see her like in this role, it's like, oh, look at her like chain smoking, drinking beer. She's kind of like a belch in the alphabet. She was like a cool chick from the 90s. Anyway, it was different. Best performance by a male actor in a supporting role in any motion picture. We got Adam Sandler for Jay Kelly, Benicio del Toro for One Battle After Another, Jacob Elordi for Frankenstein, Paul Mescal for Hamnet, Sean Penn for One Battle After Another, and Stellan Skarsgård for Sentimental Value. All right, first, let me address the elephant in the room. I did not like Jay Kelly, but I think Adam Sandler was amazing as Jay Kelly's agent. Adam Sandler was good. Benicio del Toro in One Battle After Another, I'd have liked to have seen him have a bigger role, but the scenes that he was in, amazing. Benicio del Toro is always awesome. Didn't see Frankenstein, didn't see Hamnet. The award has got to go to Sean Penn in One Battle After Another. He plays the bad guy. He plays a military colonel who has been chasing this terror organization, this American domestic terror organization. He's been chasing them for years. He's fucked up in the head. He plays this character so over the top. Sean Penn is my pick to click here. All right, we don't care about Best Director unless we're just going to give it to Paul Thomas Anderson for One Battle After Another. We don't care about screenplay. We don't care about score. We don't care about song. We don't care about cinematic or box office achievement. All right, Best Television Series. Let's move on to the TV side of things here at the Golden Globe. Sunday Night, hosted by Nikki Glaser. Number 1, Netflix, The Diplomat. That stars Kerry Russell, right? That is just Netflix desperately going, we so wish we had Aaron Sorkin under contract, and they don't. So they're just cranking out these Aaron Sorkin light series. I saw The Diplomat. It's okay. There's no weight to it. It's not great. You want to see something great with Kerry Russell? See The Americans. Watch The Americans. That's something. Diplomat, please. Anyway, it's nominated for Best Television Series Drama, the Netflix series The Diplomat. Pluribus on Apple TV, which is a show that I really enjoyed. That's nominated. Severance, also from Apple TV, is nominated. Severance absolutely sucks. You're never going to talk me off that ledge. That show is for posers and pretenders. That show makes no sense. It's unnecessarily complicated. And honestly, the performances are meh. Slow Horses, nominated for Best Television Series Drama. Slow Horses, also Apple TV. How long have I been, 3-4 seasons now? How long have I been telling you that Slow Horses is the best show on TV? Slow Horses! The Pit on Max is nominated for Best Television Series Drama. The Pit, that's Noah Wyle. The Pit, of course, very hyped. You see, every other commercial is for The Pit. The Pit is back on HBO. I don't need to see The Pit. I watched it in the 90s when we called it ER. I don't need I don't need to watch The Pit. I've already seen it. The White Lotus is also nominated. This is just a perennial. I mean, every season of The White Lotus is as good as any other show's season that year. So The White Lotus is always going to be nominated. But it's Slow Horses for me. Slow Horses, Best Television Series Drama. Gary Oldman, Kristen, what's her name? Kristen Scott Thomas. Is that who it is? Yeah. Gary Oldman, Kristen Scott Thomas. Bunch of old English people, you know. Anyway, Slow Horses is really good. Slow Horses is the best show of the year. At least that's what I say. Best television series, musical or comedy. How about Abbott Elementary? No, thank you. I don't care. It's like Severance to me. I don't care how many It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia crossovers Abbott Elementary tries to do to lure me into watching it. I'm not going to do it. It just looks stupid. It looks like some kind of, Hollywood put together it just seems no, thank you. So I'm not going to watch it. The only thing that I've seen of Abbott Elementary was the crossover episode that they did with It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And it was pretty funny. The people from Abbott Elementary weren't funny in the episode, but the people from It's Always Sunny were. So, I guess that's the best I can say about Abbott Elementary. I won't watch it. It looks like a concocted formula show. Yeah, and you know what? Sorry. No, never mind. I'm not going to say that. The Bear is nominated for Best Television Show Musical Comedy. The Bear is nominated because The Bear has been nominated the last 2 years, and the first season of The Bear was absolutely incredible. Well, let me give you a little news. The most recent season of The Bear is absolutely terrible, and you shouldn't even watch it. The Bear should not come back for another season because it doesn't need to be. They suck now. It's not as interesting as it used to be. I don't know what the fuck is going on with The Bear. It was good for a season and a half, and now it's just like, look at how great we are, and they're coasting. Hacks, nominated for Best TV Show. Hacks. I watched the first season of Hacks, and then I watched about 3 or 4 episodes of the second, and then I bailed. The first season of Hacks is really good and really interesting. Then it just becomes typical Hollywood bullshit, irritating garbage. I'll tell you who I just cannot stomach in Hacks. I can't handle it. I can't. I love Gene Smart. Gene Smart is an icon. Gene Smart. We got to wrap Gene Smart and Catherine O'Hara in bubble wrap because they're both modern icons of American culture. Even though Catherine O'Hara is Canadian, but we're gonna let her be American. I can't stand Lorraine Newman's daughter. I can't. That Hannah Einbinder. Now, I'm not saying her, and I probably shouldn't have said Lorraine Newman's daughter because then that's her, the real person. I don't know her, the real person. Her, the real person, might be wonderful. The character in the show is the worst character on television, and it's the reason that I stopped watching Hacks. She's terrible. She's terrible. She's terrible. She's terrible. She's not interesting. Ugh. So there you go, Hacks. Also nominated, the Netflix series. This is for Best Musical or Comedy Series. Nobody Wants This. That's the Adam Brody and Kristen Bell. Nobody wants this. Well, I don't want to watch this. So there you go. You're right. Nobody wants this. He's a Jewish rabbi and she's a Siksa, and they're trying to make romance work in New York City. We've never fucking seen that before. Never seen just every fucking Woody Allen movie, but okay, let's do it for a new generation and act like it's the greatest thing Netflix has ever done. It's a dumb show. It's a hack show on a premise that's been done 1,000,000 times. I won't waste my time with Nobody Wants This. And that's weird for me to say because I adore Kristen Bell. Only Murders in the Building. Hulu's big thing. Hulu, Only Murder. Again, I watched like the first 3 episodes of the first season, and then I decided, yeah, this is trash. There is nothing really great going on here. It's a nice show to watch if you're just looking to kill time before you die, but it's not enthusing me. I'm not watching this show and going, oh, I can't wait to see where this goes. It's just nonsense. It's just Steve Martin and Martin Short leaning way too heavy into whatever it is that they've been doing for the last, it's too much. I like everybody involved. The show itself is bleh. So no to Only Murders in the Building. Here you go. Here's your winner. Nominated Best Television Series, Musical or Comedy, Apple TV once again. Wow. Look at Apple TV. They got The Bear, Yeah, that's it. They just got the bear. They got the bear and this one that I think should be the winner because it is the best of the 30-minute variety television shows of last year. The Studio on Apple TV. The Studio, starring Seth Rogen and Ike Barinholtz and Catherine O'Hara. And it is really good. There is an episode, I think it's either episode 2 or episode 3. I don't know. I'm going to re-binge The Studio soon. Either episode 2 or episode 3 that might be the best 30-minute sitcom episode of anything that I've ever seen. It is done. The whole episode is about how difficult this next scene for this. The Studio is a movie studio. And this episode is about how they were really sort of perplexed about how they were going to pull off this shot for this movie that they're making. And the reason that it was so difficult was because it needed to be a one no edit tracking shot. So this entire thing that they were preparing for in this episode of The Studio was a single shot, no edit tracking shot. And they didn't know how they were going to pull it off. And that's what the whole episode was about. The actual episode itself was shot as a single shot, no edit tracking shot. It was so amazing. It was so cool. I mean, if you're into these kinds of nerdy things, it's like what they were trying to do in the episode itself is something that they were actually doing in the production of the actual episode we were watching. Anyway, there's so many levels to The Studio. It's really, really good. Seth Rogen is great in it. There you go. That's my winner for Best Television Series Comedy. Best Television Series, Best Television Limited Series, Anthology Series, or Motion Picture Made for Television. Adolescence on Netflix. I love Stephen Graham. Everybody says Adolescence is great. Seems too dark for me. Isn't it about an abused kid? And I don't do that anymore. I don't do slavery shows. I don't do concentration camp shows. And I no longer do abusive children shows. So sorry. I get it. It's so moving. Yeah, I've been moved by stories of that nature for 20 years. I don't need to be moved. Okay. It's not going to. Adolescence, I'm sure it's great, but no, thank you. Also nominated, All Her Fault. This is a Peacock entry. All Her Fault stars Shiv from Succession. Never seen it. Can't weigh in. Black Mirror. Black Mirror is also nominated. That is Netflix. It's kind of like Netflix's Twilight Zone. A lot of people like it. I don't. Dying for Sex, which looks to be an FX offering. I have never heard of it before. I don't know who this person is featured on the cover. And we're going to move on. Also nominated here, this looks like a Netflix show, something called The Beast in Me, Claire Danes and Matthew Rhys. Is that new? I think I've seen that. Is that new? The Beast in Me, a new Netflix show, nominated for a Golden Globe. There you go. And finally, The Girlfriend. The Girlfriend. I don't even know what that is. The Beast in Me, The Girlfriend, Dying for Sex, Black Mirror, All Her Fault, and Adolescence. Those are your choices for Best Television Limited Series, Anthology Series, or Motion Picture Made for Television. Haven't seen any of them, but I'm just going to go ahead and say that Adolescence will win because that is, I believe, a British production, right? Hollywood Foreign Press. Got to understand they like to reward things that are made outside the Hollywood system. I believe it's an English story and it's about the abuse of children, so they all like to stand up and go, we think that's important. So we're going to award. So we think this is important. Okay, thank you. Best performance by a female actor in a television series drama. We've got Bella Ramsey for The Last of Us. She's terrible. I'm sorry. I watched The Last of Us. Bella Ramsey is a terrible little actress. And I know that sounds like a mean and harsh thing to say, but here we are. Severance, Britt Lauer. Britt Lauer is nominated for Severance. Now, I don't watch Severance. I've seen a couple of episodes and I refuse to go back in and watch more of it. And I didn't even know that Britt Lauer was on Severance, but I love Britt Lauer. I tracked her 6 years ago on a show called Man Seeking Woman, where she played the sister of the main character, the main star of the show. She played the sister who was always trying to hook him up with girls and stuff like that. Britt Lauer, I saw her 6 years ago and I went, that girl sizzles. That girl's going to be something. And here she is nominated for her role in Severance. Helen Mirren is nominated for Mobland. Have you even seen Mobland? We'll get back to her in a minute. Kathy Bates is nominated for Matlock. Kerry Russell is nominated for The Diplomat. And Rhea Seehorn. I pulled up on that because I know I can irritate Adam Reno with that. Rhea Seehorn for Pluribus is also nominated here in this category. Look, Rhea Seehorn is terrific in Pluribus. She's great. Britt Lauer, I know that she's great in everything, but I haven't seen her in Severance, so I can't really weigh in. Kathy Bates, okay, she's a perennial. We know that if she's doing something, she's good. Kerry Russell in The Diplomat, meh. I mean, it's just so meh. Helen Mirren in Mobland. I've told you guys about Mobland. I don't know if you watch Mobland. I don't even know where Mobland is. I think it's on Paramount. Mobland is awesome. That's the best television show of the year. I know I told you that I think Slow Horses is the best. Well, Slow Horses was the only one that was nominated. They didn't nominate Mobland. Mobland is Helen Mirren, Pierce Brosnan, and Tom fucking Hardy. That's right. 3 big A-list movie stars. Fucking James Bond, Dame Helen Mirren, and Hardy, who's like one of the most bankable stars of today. They did this English TV show called Mobland from the creator of Peaky Blinders. So if you like Peaky Blinders, it's that same kind of deal. Helen Mirren and Pierce Brosnan play a husband and wife who are the godfathers, or they run a massive London-based global crime family of Irish gangsters. And Tom Hardy is their fixer. He's their right-hand guy. He handles everything. Helen Mirren in Mobland plays one of the most vicious, out of control, insane, bag of crazy old lady you have ever seen. Helen Mirren for Mobland had better win. She is awesome in Mobland. Ooh, she's a snake. Ooh, does she even love her husband? Does she even love her children? Helen Mirren is good in Mobland. Nice to see her get nominated. Best performance by a male actor in a television series drama, Adam Scott for Severance. Go Kick Rocks. Diego Luna for Andor. Are we still doing Star Wars bullshit? Gary Oldman for Slow Horses. Mark Ruffalo for Task. I don't even know what that is. Noah Wiley for The Pit. Hasn't he already been nominated for his role on ER? Does he get to do it twice? Sterling K. Brown for Paradise. Paradise is good. Paradise completely forgotten about. Paradise came out, I think, earlier in the year, so we all forgot about it. Season 2 of Paradise should be coming. Pretty good show. It's like a post-apocalyptic what happens if America... just Paradise is good. Just see it. Anyway, here's your winner, Gary Oldman, Slow Horses, and it's not even close. Gary Oldman and Helen Mirren. Let's go. It's 1994 again. Best performance by a female actor in a television series, musical, or comedy. We got Ayo Edebiri. She is Sydney from The Bear. She is the only thing that is still good about The Bear. Nay, Cousin Richie is still good. Let's just have a Cousin Richie and Sydney show. Let's do that. Jean Smart is also nominated for Hacks. I already told you she's a national treasure. How about Jenna Ortega for Wednesday? Okay, not a teen girl, so I don't even know what that is. Kristen Bell for Nobody Wants This. Natasha Lyonne for Poker Face. Wasn't that show like 10 years ago? And Selena Gomez for Only Murders in the Building. Here's what I'm going to do. Oh, man. Let's give Kristen Bell something. She doesn't win a lot of things. I don't think she's ever won anything. Let's give Kristen Bell something. Although I would like to see Natasha Lyonne win so that she'll get up and talk like a mob boss who's wearing a fucking dress. There's Natasha Lyonne. Oh my God, this is so great. I can't believe you guys gave me this award. This is something, see? Natasha Lyonne, ladies and gentlemen. I do 2 impressions. That's one of them. All right, let's see here. Best performance by a female actor in a limited series, anthology series, or a motion picture made for television. We got Amanda Seyfried for The Long... I didn't know that there were this many fucking categories, guys. I understand why it's 4 hours long now. Best performance by a female actor in a limited series. Amanda Seyfried for Long Bright River. Claire Danes for The Beast in Me. Michelle Williams, Dying for Sex. Rashida Jones, Black Mirror. Robin Wright, The Girlfriend. Sarah Schnook, All Her Fault. Got no pick here. I got no pick here. Who would be my favorite if I had to just pick one? I love Robin Wright. Robin Wright. I didn't see The Girlfriend, but I'd like you to be my girlfriend. Pugs, who's that girl you're dating? Oh, this is my girlfriend. Golden Globe winner, Robin Wright. Best performance by a male actor in a television series, musical, or comedy. How about Adam Brody? Not to be confused with Adrian Grody or what. Adam Brody. This is one of those days. This could be like 5 guys, right? There's like 5 guys with variations of this name. Which one played young Darth Vader? Which one was that guy? Aiden Brody? I don't know who these people are. And then, yeah, just whatever. I don't know. It just seems like this is a very common name, and I don't know who it. You know what it's like? It's like the Mulrooney, Mulaney. You know those guys that nobody can tell? Anyway, Adam Brody's in that group. Adam Brody for something called Nobody Wants This. Glenn Powell for Chad Powers. Jeremy Allen White for The Bear. Martin Short for Only Murders. Seth Rogen for The Studio. And Steve Martin for Only Murders. Let's give the award to Seth Rogen. There you go. That's who I would vote for. Best performance by a female actor. Oh, actor, not actress. Best performance by a female actor. See, you could save space by just calling him an actress, but that would be misogynistic. Best performance by a female actor in a supporting role on television. We've got Amy Lou Wood for The White Lotus. God, she was good. Oh, Amy Lee Wood was so good. Carrie Coon for The White Lotus. I love everything Carrie Coon does. Carrie Coon is one of my favorite TV actresses. She's actually a Broadway actress who only does TV every once in a while. But whenever Carrie Coon does something, I am there. Fargo, she was so great in like season 1 or season 2 of Fargo, I think it was. And then, of course, she's in that Gilded Age show. She's so good in that. The White Lotus last year, she is so good in it. Carrie Coon, love her. But now, of course, we've got to deal with Catherine O'Hara. We'll come back to her. Erin Doherty. Don't know who she is. She looks rather nice. She's in something called Adolescence. Again, I didn't see Adolescence because I don't do concentration camps. I don't do slavery stories. And I don't do child molestation movies. I don't do any of those things anymore. Hannah Einbinder for Hacks. Again, it's not really anything personal against her. That character is insufferable. And Parker Posey in The White Lotus. All right, so let's pare these down. I love Carrie Coon, but she's got to go. Erin Doherty, Adolescence, she's got to go. Hannah Einbinder for Hacks, she's got to go. That leaves us with Amy Lee Wood from The White Lotus, Catherine O'Hara from The Studio, and Parker Posey from The White Lotus. Amy Lou Wood was wonderful in The White Lotus, but I don't know that it was award worthy. I think that her being someone that I'd never seen before, and she definitely has a unique energy and a unique look, and her character was so adorable. We're going to kick her out, but Amy Lee Wood, very good job on The White Lotus. Your character, that's an unforgettable character you created there. All right, so now let's move on to Catherine O'Hara in The Studio. Catherine O'Hara plays the former studio head. She plays a incredibly powerful Hollywood legend, a female legend. You know, she discovered Spielberg and she first cast Tom Hanks. She is a legend. That's the character that she plays in The Studio. Problem is, she's recently been marginalized and sidelined because she's too old and she doesn't know what to do with herself anymore. And if you know anything about Catherine O'Hara, you know that that's a lot of fun stuff for her to play with in the character. She's terrific. She is terrific in The Studio. Catherine O'Hara, she plays the mentor to Seth Rogen. Seth Rogen is now in charge of The Studio. She used to be in charge of The Studio for like 40 years until they kicked her out. She got like Me Too'd or something. It was like something that happened to her that was absurd. The Studio is so good, and Catherine O'Hara is so good. Having said that, nobody is beating Parker Posey this year. Parker Posey on The White Lotus was amazing this year. I love Parker Posey. Over Christmas, she was doing commercials for some car. I don't know if he says she's a Parker Posey. Like, Parker had the new Nissan or whatever, and she's driving it, and she's supposed to be driving a family or whatever. Every time that commercial would come on, I pointed out to my son, I'd go, I love her. And he's like, I know you do. I go, I know. Parker Posey has been awesome in everything forever. And she never really gets a whole bunch of attention. She is cult. She's a cult queen. Like, they're the people who know. But she's just not mainstream. And I'd love to see her win an award and get up there and be all fucking Parker Posey. Best performance by a male actor in a limited series, anthology series, or a motion picture made for television series. I've lost so much interest in this. Charlie Hunnam for the Ed Gein story. That's old Jax Teller from Sons of Anarchy playing Ed Gein. Jacob Elordi for The Narrow Road to the Deep North. What the fuck? Never heard of that. Jude Law for Black Rabbit. Never heard of it. Matthew Rees for The Beast in Me. Only heard about it today. Paul Giamatti for Black Mirror. Stephen Graham for Adolescence. Again, didn't see it, won't see it, but Stephen Graham, by the way, Stephen Graham played Douglas Springsteen. He played Bruce Springsteen's dad. He was really good as Springsteen's dad, too. Stephen Graham should be your winner here for Adolescence, a movie that I refuse to see. Best performance by a male actor in a supporting role on television. Ashley Waters for Adolescence. Billy Crudup for The Morning Show. Hold on. Jason Isaacs for The White Lotus. Owen Cooper for Adolescence. Trammell Tillman for Severance. Walton Goggins for The White Lotus. Walton Goggins always gets my vote, except Billy Crudup in The Morning Show is so good. Billy Crudup gets my vote here. Best performance in stand-up comedy television. All right, we'll do this one. Bill Maher, is anyone seeing this? I saw it. It was good. Brett Goldstein. The second best night of your life. Brett Goldstein, of course, from Ted Lasso. Very good. Kevin Hart, Acting My Age. I didn't see it. I don't find Kevin Hart funny. Sorry. Kumail Nanjiani, Night Thoughts. Saw it. Thought it was very good. Ricky Gervais, Mortality. Saw it. Thought it was very good. Sarah Silverman, Postmortem. Didn't see that. I didn't see the latest Sarah Silverman. Okay. Ricky Gervais. Ricky Gervais, Mortality. If this is the one that I just saw, my son and I watched on New Year's Eve, he's terrific. He's not up there doing jokes. He's up there just socially commenting on us. And he pulls no punches. And, he calls garbage when he sees it. He's very funny. Ricky Gervais. There you go. Best podcast. Well, I don't see me here. Armchair Expert, one of my favorites. Call Her Daddy, another one that I've started to really appreciate. Good Hang with Amy Poehler. I don't listen regularly, but they seem to have good guests, and I might need to jump in and start listening to Good Hang. Smartless. I think we all know that Smartless, I've been talking about Smartless for years. Smartless is, of course, Jason Bateman, Sean Hayes, and Will Arnett. They just talked to one of their famous friends, and it's fantastic. The Mel Robbins Podcast, don't know what that is. And Up First, which seems to be an NPR podcast. For me, this is going to come down to Smartless and the Armchair Expert. Armchair Expert is Dak Shepard. He's so good. He's such a decent dude. He just comes across as such a real, authentic, and honest and sincere guy, the kind of thing that I try to do. But, he's handsome and he does it with ease. So, Smartless or Armchair Expert? You know what? Smartless, because it's 3 people. I'm going to say no. Armchair Expert. Let's give it to Dax. I think that's the best podcast. All right. There we go. We're done with that. Let's be done with the Golden Globes. Again, the Golden Globes are Sunday night, hosted by Nikki Glaser. Should we do some football? Let's do some football. April says Adolescence is not about child molestation. Well, then they ought to change their promos, because that's the way I took it. Is it about a kid getting beat up? Is it about a kid getting fucked with? That's still the same thing. I don't want anything sad. I don't want to see it seems too heavy. Okay. Just relax. I need to not be into heavy things. I don't want to see Adolescence. Let's see. What else do we have here? Let's get out of that. Dogs. Nah, we don't need to do that. Oh, shit. Rob. Is Rob in the chat room? You guys, I gotta go. You guys, I totally forgot. Ah, shit. Hold on. I totally forgot. I screwed over our buddy Rob. We were supposed to meet today, and it's 2:45. Why? Because I decided to do an hour's worth of Golden Globes bullshit. No, thank you. Let's do our picks. Let's do the Kelly Method picks for the playoffs this weekend, and I'll tell you. There we go. All right, here we go. NFL playoff picks. Of course, you know that the Kelly Method is my former partner Kelly Moore's method of looking at games and then not using any sort of information or expertise in the area of football, just looking at the teams, taking the mascots, and trying to figure out. She would do it out loud. She would work it through out loud, trying to figure out which mascot could defeat which mascot. It has proven to be a fairly successful method of picking games, at least as successful as anybody else who thinks they're an expert. She did really well. I forgot to pick games last weekend, but if you remember, she went like 12-5 the week before. But then the week before that, she actually was sub 500 by one. She bounced back. She rallied back with the 12-5 week. That was very good. All right, let's do this. Here we go. Let's do some picks. NFL wildcard games tomorrow at 3:30. The first game that we've got is the Rams and the Panthers. All right? Rams at Panthers. Now, they just played a couple of weeks ago. This shouldn't mean anything because this is football knowledge. They just played out there a couple of weeks ago, and the Panthers won. That's probably why they've got home field advantage. The Panthers, cat, a ram is a mountain goat, a panther. They both live in the same area, right? So there is no real home field advantage. A panther is probably going to be in the same place as a ram. Guys, I got to go the Panthers here. I think a panther could beat a goat unless. Where are Panthers? Are Panthers in jungle? It doesn't matter. I'm going Panthers to upset the Rams. Yeah, your Kelly Method is already giving you an upset pick the click of the week. Go with the home Carolina Panthers over the Los Angeles Rams tomorrow at 3:30. All right, tomorrow night. This is the one that's got me all freaked out. Seriously, we're all around here in Chicago. We're all just holding our breath until kickoff. Nothing matters until kickoff. Green Bay Packers coming into Chicago to play the Bears tomorrow at 7:00, national TV. Third time these teams have played this. Let me tell you that. Listen to this. Yeah. Okay. The Bears, first of all, we all know the Chicago Bears and the Green Bay Packers are the oldest rivalry in the NFL. It dates all the way back to like 2020. It dates all the way back to like 1918 when these teams were playing in the AFLLA, which is a completely different league than the NFL would turn into the NFL. But these teams go back. They've hated each other forever. They're a short train ride away from each other. In the last 4 meetings, this is incredible. This just shows you what a rivalry is. In the last 4 meetings between the Chicago Bears and the Green Bay Packers, both teams have won twice and lost twice. So in the last 4 games, the last 4 meetings, they are 2-2. In the last 4 games, both teams have scored 86 points. Every single one of the last 4 games has been decided on the final play of the game. That is football magic. So here we go. The 5th game, the rubber match for the playoffs tomorrow in Chicago. It's a Green Bay Packer, which is just a dude who works for a paper packing company and is in a union. The Packers are a union team, or they started out as a union team. So a Green Bay Packer is just a dude who belongs to the Packers union. The Chicago Bears, of course, we know is a grizzly bear. Packer, a guy who works for a union, has to walk into a Bears den. Bears are at home. Bears win. That Packer is not coming out. Kelly Method said Bears over the Packers. The NFL wildcard game turns to Sunday action at noon. We've got the Buffalo Bills taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think we got another Kelly Method upset because I believe that a Jaguar could destroy a guy named Bill, especially if the Jaguar was home. Take Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars over the Buffalo Bills. Is this the end of the Buffalo Bills? Old Josh going to demand a trade. Could you imagine Josh Allen as the quarterback of either the Las Vegas Raiders or the Los Angeles Rams? It's coming. I'm telling you. There ain't no way Josh Allen's going to play his entire career in Buffalo. Just not going to happen. He's going to be like, look, my wife is a movie star. We need to at least get out on the West Coast somewhere. I can't. Anyway, I think this might be the end of the Buffalo Bills. That's right. Book it. The Jaguars over the Bills Sunday at noon. That's your wild card game at noon. Also Sunday, this is January 11th. Sunday at 3:30. 49ers at the Eagles. 49ers at the Eagles. Defending Super Bowl champion Eagles. 49ers are just a guy who's up there in the mountains around San Francisco in the year 1849 looking to strike it rich with gold. That's all he is. He's just a dude. Gold in them there hills. That's what a 49er is, okay? And an eagle is a bird. An eagle is a bird with talons, and 49er guys probably got a gun. 49ers over the Eagles. That's my pick. 49ers over the Eagles on Sunday at 3:30 p.m. NFL wild card action continues Sunday night at 7:15 p.m. The Chargers headed to Foxborough to take on the Patriots. Now, this is again a home game for the Patriots, which means that this is a home game in 1776. They still had lightning in 1776. At least I believe they did. So there's no change or effect to the Chargers. Yeah, I'm taking the Chargers over the Patriots. Patriots just a dude from the 1700s who's about to get struck by lightning. Is he going to survive or is he going to die? Well, based on the medical knowledge they had back then, I'm thinking this dude's probably cooked, literally and figuratively. Chargers over the Patriots. And then the final game, it looks like this is going to be Monday. Yeah, there's a fucking Monday night playoff game. This is so stupid. Texans at the Steelers. All right, so this is just a Texan. This is just a guy from Texas versus a union steel worker. And the guy from Texas, but this is not a union steel worker, is just a guy. Yeah, I know he works in front of blast furnaces, but Texans, they exist out there riding the range in 110 degree temperatures so I don't think the blast furnace heat is going to bother a Texan. Texans at Steelers. Texans, we imagine them with a gun, right? The Texans over the Steelers. I think the Texan will just shoot the union steel worker who may come at them with a big club, but I think the bullet from the Texan. All right, there you have it. There's your picks for the playoffs. The Kelly Method has spoken. The Kelly Method likes the Panthers over the Rams, the Bears over the Packers, the Jaguars over the Bills, 49ers over the Eagles, Chargers over the Patriots, and the Texans over the Steelers. Book it and prepare to lose all of your money because I am telling you, I do not like those picks. I personally do not like those picks, but the Kelly Method doesn't take into account what I personally like or don't like. I don't know. Let's see here. April talking about adolescence. She says, yeah, it's pretty heavy, but damn, the acting is so good. I imagine the acting is great. Stephen Graham is amazing. Stephen Graham is great in everything. All right, I got to go. That's it. We're going to be done with the show today. One more time, I want to thank our executive producer, the person who made this show absolutely worthwhile and capable. Happenable. Jojo. Thank you, Jojo. Thank you for the tip. Thank you to everybody who has tipped in the last couple of days. Yesterday was a pretty nice day. 3 people tipped. I really appreciate that. You guys are awesome. So, because we went a couple of days without any tips. If you support this kind of talk radio, the kind of rambling nonsense that only a guy like me can do, please drop a little something, whether it's in the Cash App or the Venmo. That's how we keep doing this. Son of a bitch. I am so behind today. I am so screwed today. All right. I love you guys. Have a good weekend. Bear down.